Bonjour, bienvenue, and welcome to Breakfast Central, the brightest breakfast show on your television screens. We're happy to be here. It's Friday, TGIF. Je suis Joe Hansen. My name is Joe Hansen, and for the next 3 hours or thereabout, you will be getting the latest stories, punchlines, details, insights, analysis, and you can say every single truth. We will be telling it right here on Breakfast Central. It's our mandate. It's definitely our own goal to let you know what the stories are and what you need to know about them. I'm not alone. Of course, we're called the Three Musketeers for a reason. We're not just talking. We're here to dissect all the stories. Once again, I'm Joe Hansen, and Benin-Agbor is here today. Good morning.
Hello, welcome to Breakfast Central, wherever you're reaching us across the world, whether it's Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh or you're reaching us from Ulaanbaatar in Mongolia, or you are in Windhoek, Namibia, dancing Windek by Cabo Snoop. You're welcome to Breakfast Central. This is where all the action happens. I'm very excited because today's Friday and tomorrow's the weekend. We get to rest and energize and do other things away from work. But let's tell you that so many things are happening in this country, and this is the best place to get your wake-up gist and conversations. And of course, during the course of the show, we'll look at topics and bring in subject matter analysts to discuss the happenings in our country. You're welcome to the program. I'll hand you over to the lady. I wish you guys could have a full view of what she's wearing. She's the personification of style when it comes to television in Africa. She's looking gorgeous. Well, unfortunately, you can't see a full view.
I can show them.
Management.
Can I walk to the front of this?
No,
set?
you can't.
it's okay.
Just,
I can do it too.
No,
and we're not happy with you, but we'll get to that.
we'll get to that. No, it's okay.
Joe and I have had to
Oh, you people have planned against me.
talk to you.
Surely
No,
they shall
you're-
plan against
You're our
me.
younger sister.
Okay.
Anyway,
Mr.
Olive,
Gbenga, thank
let me
you so
hand
much.
over.
Mr. Gbenga, and thank you so much, Mr. Joe. As you can see, I have respect for the both of you.
For the elderly.
No ones. You know, we are not in the same generation. Yesterday, it was, even me now, I'm afraid to call it too, but we'll come to that Tony saga shortly.
How about those that went to Aso Rock to present their report card, their achievement to Daddy Oyoyo in a democratic dispensation? I mean, it's
It's very important because you can't remove culture from how we do everything.
Yeah.
So it's culture.
Corporate work
It's
and
culture.
governance. We'll come to that. Can I kindly introduce myself?
I didn't see Governor Soludo do
Can I
that
kindly introduce
when he
myself?
won in Anambra.
Can I kindly introduce
please,
myself?
go ahead.
Thank you so much. Perhaps this is your first time watching Breakfast Central. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for joining us. For those who've stayed all through the week, thank you for being with us as always. Yesterday ended on a very heated note with the argument with Mr. Theophilus Akatuba. We saw your comments. We hope you've taken a deep breath.
And for those who tune to Cartoon Network, I hope you've come back.
We hope you've come back. we could see the anger. Don't worry, we felt it. You could feel our angst of the show as well. My name is Olive Emodi. If this is your first time watching the show, I am Queen Olive. Please don't address me by my name like that. You have to add Queen. Shout out to those who add Queen, Princess, and all those things on YouTube. No. This is just me joking. I'm not being sarcastic of what happened in any way. I don't condone it, and I'll share my thoughts later. All right, gentlemen, how are you?
Well, we're doing good. I think we're fine. My heart goes out to those who have been stuck. I've never seen this in a while. 3 days counting, people stuck in traffic, and it seems like it's a really tough one, especially for them. So right now, more videos were shown. People were recording yesterday, and it became so sad to watch. Bad roads could lead to a lot, but we'll get into that conversation. As we move, let's mention that we're streaming live on YouTube, so do a favor, go there and check it out as we're streaming live. But let's start off with our very first wake-up conversation story. It's one that has got to do with respect and, of course, our culture. Not forgetting to, aside from respect, our culture, it also has to do with what many would tag to be what is humanly sane, the right thing to do. Yesterday, a video was trending online. It's got to do with a very popular personality, one who is a philanthropist, of course, a business mogul and one whom many have alluded or have regarded, rather, as a symbol of entrepreneurship, because he himself supports entrepreneurs, and because of his benevolence and, of course, his willingness to give out, he's also gone as far as hosting the youths, people in whom he believes
across the continent, yeah.
Of course, across the continent, and he believes in them and wants to ensure that he gets to host them here and there. But we're talking about the man himself, Mr. Tony
Elumelu. I like that you quickly added that.
That story started a fire yesterday and brought about the difference between Nigeria's culture, respect, standards, and when we talk about addressing people.
All right, let's give a bit of a context to it, a bit of a background. So what was happening was UBA was hosting their Graduate Management Accelerated Program, where they were hosting 374 graduates. And in the course of the graduation happening, of course, there was the Q&A, I believe, and there was a question asked by a young woman, but it wasn't about the question. It was about the way in which she addressed Mr. Tony Elumelu. So let's take a look, and we'll come back to share our thoughts.
Okay. Good morning, Tony.
Tony.
I said good morning, Tony.
Okay, no, you won't call me Tony. I'm not those people. You call me Miss Elumelu or Tioyi. You won't call me Tony or Chairman. That is, I don't subscribe to that kind of Oyibo life, okay? All right.
Good morning, Mr. Elumelu.
Thank
so my
you.
question is, how do you know if you are to keep going?
All right. So that was one video. Then there was another one where people have then dug out a video where he had a conversation in America, and a young American called him...
Nigerian American.
Yeah, Nigerian American called him his name. Let's take a look.
Hi, Tony. It's so great to have you here. Thank you for being with us today.
Good to meet you too.
You are one of the most celebrated and most decorated business leaders in Africa, and I would posit the world. So it's truly an honor to be able to host you at Stanford this afternoon.
Okay, so yeah, there you have it. One girl in Nigeria calling him...
That's the handle that went to go dig it up.
Yes, so the girl in Nigeria calling him Tony got a lot of backlash after she got checked. And then that handle went and dug out the older video of him not calling out a similar scenario. And here's what I would say in response to that.
You're not done.
Oh, okay, sorry, go ahead. Then there was another one of Maya Angelou that also started trending. And I don't know if we have that video as well. Let's take a look at the video.
Oh, thank you. And first, I'm Miss Angelo.
Miss Angelo.
Yes, ma'am. I'm not Maya. I'm 62.
Kim, you had a question. Yeah, I wanted to ask Maya her views on interracial relationships.
Oh, thank you. And first, I'm Miss Angelo.
Miss Angelo.
Yes, ma'am. I'm not Maya. I'm 62 years old. I have lived so long and tried so hard that a young woman like you or any other you have no license to come up to me and call me by my first name.
Excuse me.
That's first. That's first. Also because at the same time, I am your mother, I'm your auntie, I'm your teacher, I'm your professor. You see?
You just told her that she should call you Ms. Angelo.
Miss Angelo, Dr. Angelo, Professor Angelo, Auntie.
Is that part of the problem in this culture that we have? There's not enough discipline, there's not enough respect?
I only think that the children know only what we teach them. If there is something wrong in the generations, last two generations, which did not carry on the tradition. And I think this is true not just in the black community, this is true in the white community, in all the communities. We have not taken the children to our knees and told them the truth. Darling, here's the way it is. You live in direct relation to the poets, the heroes, and the sheroes you have. Always honor the elders. Oh, then you honor yourself. Honor women. You honor yourself. Honor men. You honor yourselves. Watch your mouth. Watch what you say to another human being. Don't be so ready to be rude. You have to teach the children that. People don't jump up out of cribs, baby cribs, and know that.
So now you've seen the different contexts. First of all, Mr. Tony Elumelu, and just for the record, when we speak about him, there are two things Okay, I'll start by saying, first of all, there are two things that you must take account of. How you speak about someone and how you speak to someone.
True.
When people are speaking about him, we refer to him, almost everybody has called him Tony Elumelu. When speaking about him, it's a completely different kettle of fish. When you're face-to-face directly with the man and you're talking to him, calling him his first name in our culture is not considered respectful. There are those who argue that the culture of the office might be a first name basis, a work relationship, that a lot of them have been exposed to external influence. I understand that argument. However, you must understand that context matters. The reason he wouldn't maybe have cautioned the lady in Stanford, it's a different setting. Typically, in the West, a lot of things slide. They do a lot of first name basis. I'm not a Yoruba girl. In my house, I don't kneel down to greet my mother. But if I come to your house, you're a Yoruba person, you kneel down to greet your parents, I will kneel down to greet your parents with you. We understand the context of different scenarios.
When in Rome.
Exactly. Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. When in Rome, behave like the Romans. And I think another thing that was to be pointed out is even in the way that she responded. When she was being corrected, the simple, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. And then say, Mr. Elumelu, you continue with your question. And it's important that we highlight this because the younger generation, there's a bit of a worry and a concern in how things are done. When we were younger, there were certain things that we could not even dare to dream of doing. And I hope that parents are learning that if you don't train your children at home, they will go outside and embarrass you. That being said, I also hold a lot of empathy for the girl. I think that two truths can coexist. While, yes, she's acted out of order, I don't know if she's strong enough to handle the amount of media scrutiny she's receiving. Backlash. Everyone has done videos trashing her. She was trending on X, she was trending on Instagram. Whoever she is, whoever that young girl is, I hope that you've learned your lesson. I hope that you're taking it with some measure of humility and there's no iota of pride. Everybody cannot all be wrong. And more importantly, I hope that you're able to lift up your head at work today and that you learn that, these things happen, you pick up yourself, you don't shrink and you don't cower. Because honestly, sometimes media scrutiny, and when I say media, I mean social media, traditional media scrutiny can be tough and not everybody has the bandwidth to deal with it. So that I hope that you're able to be kind to yourself and you learn from this.
Very, very true, Olive. I think you've covered everything practically. This is a wake-up conversation for us because, it's a Friday and we've pretty much looked at the situation of things. But with what I know with Mr. Tony, I'm sure that Mr. Elumelu would actually try as much as possible. I'm sure that young lady would have like a pep talk, maybe a one-on-one with him when he has that time. And I'm sure it's also going to put her through like, hey, listen, this is what happened, and I think you should also work on this. It also comes down to culture. It's like our culture is starting to, are we missing something? Are we bringing in the westernized ways of doing things, therefore abolishing our own culture and the way we also treat issues and the way we address people? I saw another video, I think it was with Barack Obama, and he was being asked, do you miss being called your name? As regards you being called Mr. President, he said, listen.
It was asked by Trevor.
By Trevor. And he said, listen, my best friends, my close friends call me Barack. But you should call me Mr. President. And just to mention, in context, whether you were a serving president for 15 years ago, 30 years ago,
just like
you are
senators,
still referred to as Mr. President. Whether you were in most companies, whether you were a chairman or board of chairman for years and you're no longer the chair, you're still addressed as Mr. Chairman. So I'm even add sir to it, Mr. Chairman, sir, just for context. But I think, just to mention here, that young lady, please, for all netizens, since Wake Up Conversation is also focused mostly on netizens, let's cut the young lady some slack.
Yeah, let's calm down.
I can guarantee you that Mr. Elumelu is not harsh like like many have said.
From his reaction, you could tell that he didn't take it to her.
Yeah.
But this is where I would like to comment, and I agree with read the room, study the environment, and I don't support the inquisition against this young girl out there on social media. Please, we have bigger problems to deal with than an individual's error. We've all made mistakes. I've made a mistake with regards to something like this, and I'll share my story.
I've done that too.
But I think this young lady, from my research and from what I heard, is that in UBA training school, it's they refer to everyone on first name basis. It's the work culture there. So she probably took it to heart and took it all the way to the chairman to address him.
We do first name basis.
Yeah, we do.
But I cannot see my MD and call him Coyote.
Yes, I mean, it depends on the individual and what they like. Because in some other companies, they refer to their MDs as, so you read the room, when in Rome, you behave like a Roman. Yeah. Context matters. When Emma Abaga sang Soft Like Tony, he didn't put soft like Mr. Tony. And when Charles Okocha, Mr. Elumelu, when he was singing Elumelu Money, he didn't put Mr. Elumelu, he was slamming Elumelu. So context matters. That's music, that's art. Now let's get to the serious part of it. So many years ago, in my early days in broadcasting, I had the pleasure of, I was very enthusiastic. I was a newbie on TV, of interviewing the stallion of music, the late Onyeka Onwenu. Very great interview, and I started and I said, "Good morning, Onyeka." I felt really bad, but she didn't react. The interview went on, but I made up for it later, and I said, I asked her a brilliant question. I said, "You're Wesley." She went to this famous school in New York, Wesley College. You have alumni, famous alumni like the former Secretary of State, Miss Madeleine Albright, and I said, "What is it about Wesleyan girls that, you know, they stand out?" I named a few Hollywood actors that went to that school. And she said, "Wow, unfortunately," she was so happy with my research. And you could see her face lit up. She said, "Unfortunately, I have only boys and they can't go to that school." But there's something really special. She spoke about the culture, and I think it made up for my lapse. I realized immediately, but time had gone.
Honestly, the professional expectation.
So imagine if Twitter had crucified me.
Yeah, would you be here today?
Would I be
Who
here?
knows?
No.
So just to mention that we've all at some point made that mistake or even found it weird. All three of us are professional MCs. When we're not here, we're hosting events. And there have been times when we have to call certain people by names. Professionally, you're allowed to do that. Even as journalists, right? We're allowed to do full names and all. When we are not working, when it's not in a professional capacity, is until I was hosting an event, and I think it was, and some people, they are brands, right? They have a public social media brand, they're celebrities. For example, we call Joke Silva. Everybody, when I say, mommy, auntie Joke Silva. All the incredible, you know, you hyper finish, and you say, oh, many refer to her as Joke Silva, but I would like to call her the Auntie Joke Silva. We've tried to make adjustments, and I'm not saying that I'm perfect with it. All of us are still learning. We just, again, it's about context.
Having said that, Joe and I would like to inform you that going forward, we are not your mates.
We are not your mates.
This is Mr. Joe, this is Mr. Gbenga.
All right, Mr. Gbenga and Mr. Joe, thank you so much.
Going forward.
In fact, let's ask our audience.
How dare you?
Our audience, our viewers, do you agree that I should start calling them Mr. Joe?
You don't have a choice. You don't need to. No. It doesn't behove on the man who is watching us or the woman is watching us.
No, they have a right. They
don't have a right
they do have a
to
right.
tell me how you should address me.
I remember a service of songs I hosted for this brilliant gentleman that passed a long time ago. He was old. He had so many achievements. And then I started reading out his name. It was late Dr. Chief, blah, blah, blah. And then I gave the mic to the special guest of honor. And he was angry that why didn't I add late to his own name when I was introducing him.
Benga,
that's a lie.
I don't agree.
Benga, that's a lie.
Let's move on to
Let's go to what Nigerians are saying.
Let's move on to our next story.
All right.
I don't think we should. I mean,
let's take a few comments now.
I think we've hit the nail on the head.
But let's take one or two comments.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a lot of comments on YouTube.
So Mokunye Chukwuemeka says, no, let me start with Idris Onifade says, the lady did nothing wrong. A younger colleague can call me by first name and we have the conversation in English. But the moment you switch to Yoruba and you use O, Nadia problem will start. So just so you know, if you're talking to an older person, you should say karo. She say kile mamubo. But the moment you say kilo mamubo.
But in Yoruba movies, you'll be insulting person, somebody and you say respectful insult.
Adding respect to the insult. Mokunye Chukwuemeka said that's what they were taught in their training. I still find it hard to call my senior colleagues by their first name. I add Mr. or Madam to their names. Idris Onifade says late Herbert Wigwe was called by his first name in Access Bank, and that's the culture. Don't start what you cannot accept. Owe Ogenetega says, good morning all. There's a culture within the banking sector, and several people from UBA have said that it's their culture from training school to call everyone by their first name. If true, allow her, I beg. Prince Ajibade said, not all netizens I think the problem is with her and her upbringing. I have a 26-year-old son, and he won't even dare. I think her parents did a terrible job, and that's my opinion. Chinedu Brown said, Idris, imagine your... Oh, he's responding to Idris earlier. Were she an Igbo girl, the internet would have been awash with people that use his leg to wake their parents up.
My daughter wakes me up by kicking me. She also uses her leg.
Oh, my goodness.
Wake up. More question for America, nice one.
You guys are something.
Seriously, I need to commend our producers for putting that Maya Angelou video up. I mean, it says a lot. There's a lot.
I mean, we all have, whether we like it or not. Let's
Someone says, but Olive, you just called your MD by his first name. Iro, everyone knows his name is Kayode Akintomi. We never call him...
60 minutes with Mr. K.
Exactly. We never call him Kayode. We talk to him and we say Mr. K.
Take note.
Or we call MD Mr. K. It's either of both of them. And if you watch his show, Mr. K, 60 Minutes with Mr. K, you will know that that's even his brand.
What is this now? Prince Ajibade says, which Boda
Joe, you're not going to speak for your mouth.
Let's go to our next story. Our next story, very quickly. The next story is a sad one. It's got to do with Nigerians who are, like someone put it, I'm just
trapped on the road.
Words. Someone said Nigerians are paying for the dividends of the choices they made, not the dividends of democracy. That's what a tweet said. Said, this is the dividends of the choices that you made. Well, for motorists on the Benin-Agbor bypass, getting from one point to another has actually become a horror movie, with some residents saying they now spend hours stuck on the road, describing it as impassable. Don't take our words for it. If you've been on X, you've been on social media, people are documenting consistently the horrific situation that they found themselves up until 2 days. It's taken more than 48 hours.
It's terrible and agonizing.
Watch the videos for yourself. We'll come back to talk about it. Drop your comments on what you think.
The governor of the state, he puts swimming pool for us for center of Tar Road. Shani. This one is Agbor Road, Agbor Road. Yeah, Edo is shining for Agbor Road. Edo is shining for Agbor Road, Edo is shining. At the record of my brother. Edo is shining. Senator Governor Mode Okwebolu. Yeah, he don't cash out. He have business don't come meet for you. Edo is shining. Edo is shining. See our road. See our road. Edo is shining. They don't block her now. Now, me want to see what the governor want to do. Governor, come outside. I dare you as a governor. Anything I want to tell me. I try for the state. I do fly over, I block them. May anybody know it? I don't try. I carry company where no get name come they can't do road. I don't try. I do road, I push with import. I don't try.
We don't collect money. We don't do road for us. I don't pack my motor for 6 many more. Let me come inside. Every time I go my car,
they say I'm with this go slow since yesterday. Look around. You see, this is those states we did. Since yesterday, we did inside go hold up. I swear.
See that place market with this so see am. Just video ram. Video our 50 plus see people they come. Video them. If we talk now, they will tell us what we see. Now to go there, they go do campaign and say no send them. To fix road, I don't know if it fix. They say they do coastal road. Coastal road they do don't make sense. Video this man and see so. Video ram. Imagine. Video ram make they see. Video ram make they see. Video they see. Video the gospel make they see. What do you not send them? I don't go to do. They thought say they will go do this thing. Come on tomorrow and fix road for us. I don't want fix road for us. We are going to carry fly. They go. All these APC people, one I don't show I don't do to fix road and I'm not fix road. We are talking about they go to coastal road don't exist. 15 trillion naira, where the money they go? If we carry all those road, money do this road now, this road don't go good. Bros, this road don't go good. This road go good. See, come, how much this one? What? Billions of naira, millions of naira. See people markets. I want to buruku. You pass go.
Good day, Nigerians. Good day, the people of Ogun State. So this is the Eleweran to Oshele Road, and this is the front of Oshele School, Federal College of Education, Oshele, Abeokuta. Now, this road is a major road in Abeokuta. First, because one, it's a federal road which links Abeokuta to Ibadan. Then additionally, it's a very vital link because on this road we have schools connected. First is Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, where in that same FUNAM, we also have Federal University of Medical Sciences, Abeokuta. Additionally, it links to the Federal College of Education, Oshele. But this road has been in the deplorable state, and it has been affecting business and livelihoods. What is more interesting is that in the 2024 budget, this road was given an allocation. It was titled Emergency Repair of Eleweran to Oshele Road with an allocation of 55 million naira. But this is what we have. And there has been lamentation, there has been complaint, there has been effort, even from the student union of this school. However, nothing has been done. So at this point, the people of Oshele, the people of Eleweran are tired, the people of camp are tired of using this road. And as such, we are calling on the relevant agencies and government agencies and stakeholders to see to this road as a...
From Benin-Agbor bypass, and the last video you saw there, Ogun State. And yet, if you put everything together, Nigerians are asking a big question. By the way, just to mention, the Benin-Agbor bypass road that you saw there, people were stuck on that road for more than 24 hours, 48 hours. And some people were giving reports on X. Those whose homes are not far off from the express road, from the road rather, were videoing and saying, oh, so time check, these guys are still stuck, they're not moving. You do what you want to do with that information. Benga, I mean,
this is terrible. I've been in a traffic situation, I think 3-4 hours on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, and I could imagine the horror I went through. I couldn't even, you can't do your toilet breaks or everything. It's such a huge inconvenience. And you're stuck in the middle of trailers, trucks. Imagine if there's a medical emergency.
Imagine
how are they going to evacuate people from there, or security emergencies? It's terrible. No one should be going through this sort of experience, especially as a Nigerian. But it's almost like a given that it's going to happen, and it's unfortunate. And for those passing commentary about coastal roads, two things can coexist. You can fix coastal roads. You can also repair the existing roads, and the priorities should be the same. You should give it the same level of attention. I would think the logical thing to do is, there are bad spots, like really, really bad spots, especially the interstate roads, the roads that lead from one state to another. And Edo State is a melting pot. Like it's a convergence point where people move to different parts of the country. So you know how serious the federal roads in Edo State is. And it's unfortunate that the government is not giving it the much needed attention it deserves by, building new roads. And I think before you embark on new projects, please make sure you standardize the existing ones and they're fit for purpose and they're great to stop Nigerians. I mean, we need to start quantifying. Time is money. People's lost man hours, precious time on that road, people's well-being, their mental state of, and the businesses they're going to. It's really very, very, and I relate with them for being angry. Anyone would be angry to be stuck in that sort of situation.
So let's just also mention, from my own quote-unquote personal, in some measure, experience, I have family that left Delta State some days ago to come to Lagos. Now, they couldn't fly for certain reasons, so they had to come by road. And it was the most terrible experience. It was a harrowing experience. you know, when I was informed about how bad the roads were, how hilly, and I was even just happy, as selfish as this sounds, I was happy at least they were able to make it to Lagos before this insane one happened. And Maurice Moye, sorry, Mokunye Chukwuemeka, you mentioned myself and Maurice Moye on a certain tweet, and I saw the tweet yesterday, just to highlight this same story, right? It's a shame that these are the roads, and this is why we must ask questions. When we say that we are able to save 15.8 trillion naira from subsidy, and we say 10.4 trillion was given to the states and to the local government, and the federal got a certain allocation, we have a minister of works. The different states have commissioners of works. There are questions that need to be answered. And more importantly, you must then decide. This is why you must participate in the electoral process. You can't sit on the sidelines and be complaining. If you did not vote at the last elections, I'm very sorry. A number of the things that are being spoken about, you have no right to really speak about it because you had a chance to exercise your franchise and you chose not to, except you had valid reason not to vote on that day. And there are some people who were working. I know some journalists, unfortunately, can't vote that day because you're covering elections. But if you have a chance, a choice, and you deliberately decide, I'm not involved, though, politics is not my business, I hope you see that your roads, the quality of your life, all of this is largely dependent on your ability to influence the decision of the leaders that you put in power. It's why 2027 is your business. Entertainment on social media is great, but entertainment on social media is not going to fix your roads. You must be interested in politics. You must be interested in who governs you. And you must be able to ask these people questions. The Edo State governor has come under criticism as well because of these roads. And it was very interesting. Part of the criticism we've seen is those who say, look, you can't be having a road that is less than excellent, but yes, you are attacking Osun State governor and Osun State government during the elections. You can't do that. He who comes to equity must come with clean hands, right? So a number of the arguments we hear some of the governors say, it's not our road, it's a federal road. Federal law, state law, press them. Ask them questions. It is your right. No one is doing Nigerians a favor by giving us good roads, giving us electricity. These are the basics.
It's
you go
basic.
to the West, and it's a normal thing. I can't even start to imagine this kind of roads. And, you know, you are in London, for example, on major roads, and this is a major road. I shudder to imagine. I mean, maybe I've not been to those parts of London, correct me, but we compare ourselves easily to, oh, it's not only Nigeria, it's happening. No, it's happening in these other places. We are very quick to make comparison when it's bad experiences. Hold your leaders accountable. Make these videos. Continue to speak about it. You have a voice. You have a platform. Use it at these coming elections. I hope that you remember these roads when you're going to the polls.
Just to mention, the total project estimate for the coastal road is 15 trillion naira.
Yeah, it's the biggest single infrastructure project in the history of Nigeria.
And I recall how people kept saying, why don't we fix the existing roads first? And there's nothing wrong in doing that concurrently. The president, in just concluded Federal Executive Council meeting, had approved some monies for repair works and construction works. But people are now saying it is just twilight or it's dark leading towards the election. I mean, the election season started.
It might be election speak, yes.
And people are saying we don't. Political. Some people are some because we follow these stories and we see the reactions online, and we also speak with some of the experts. People are worried that this could also be just a political direction, a political statement. Go ahead and fix this road. And the biggest question is, why now? I do recall that Nigerians had been talking from months ago, last year, 2 years ago, when the coastal road was about to be commissioned. Remember when they commissioned the 30-kilometer? Yeah. And it wasn't done?
Yeah.
They weren't finished?
First time in the history of the world that I would see that sort of thing happening.
And the minister, Dave Umahi, has also said that, listen, these roads are the best. But we've also seen that while we're working on that one road, if there is budget, why don't we fix this? I feel sad. Up until yesterday evening, Benga, people were still stuck. And as I speak this morning, we wait for clarity. If you know anybody who is there, please feel free to reach out.
I'm just seeing a comment on YouTube. Mokunye Chukwuemeka says, Olive, I met someone yesterday. They left us about 10 a.m. on Wednesday and got to Lagos 8 a.m. yesterday. How does that make sense? 24 hours.
And then we had a guest
for a 6-hour drive.
That it's just traffic, that it is safe.
Mr. Theophilus Akatugba. That was what triggered me. God forbid. Imagine that there was an insecurity attack. How do people want to escape?
Or medical emergency.
Yeah, a woman goes into labor
It's really,
you know,
really terrible. People shouldn't be doing this.
It's sad. Let's
I mean,
not,
you could have
let's not
traveled.
be-
You could have traveled to
You know how many
Australia.
countries I would have gone to? Even when I was going to Thailand, I did not fly for 24 hours.
Exactly.
I would fly to Qatar. How many hours? Take maybe like 1 or 2 hour layover and continue my journey. It was not that far, even if you're going to Antarctica.
It's really terrible that Nigerians
Anyway,
have to go through this.
let's see what
And we
Nigerians
haven't even
say.
seen any statement from the Federal Ministry of
No
Works.
statement from... No,
on
so
the
let
plans
me
to
predict.
fix this
Permit me
roads.
to predict. When you get a statement, it will simply just explain why the issues may happen and that they are on top of it, and Nigerians should get to understand that there was rain, and because of the
At
rain,
least acknowledge people's suffering.
Well, let's hope that this one,
Watch
I
out.
mean, we talked about FEC meeting and the outcome of the FEC meeting, and there was an allocation for road infrastructure. The FEC approves 438 billion naira road projects and commissions. The approvals included concessions for trailer parks, highways under public-private partnerships. We are hoping that the outcome of this is that now that the approvals have made, we'll start to see considerable difference, considerable impact. But
some of
again,
those constructions will take 24 months, just to mention. 24 months. Okay? Just to mention. Anyway, let's see what Nigerians are saying on X very quickly concerning this story. Very difficult one. And our hearts, once again, I'm still saying I feel so sorry for those who have been stuck. Some have been so frustrated. The videos are not anywhere near fun. People are angry. People are agitated. People are at a state of shock.
let me read some of the roads that...
For 48 hours, going to 72 hours, being stuck, not being able to move. And they have to move.
Let me read some of the roads so far. There's an approved, FEC-approved reconstruction of the Ado-Ekiti in Aramoko, Itaure, Oshun border road in Ekiti. And then they mentioned who they awarded the project to. Council also ratified orders for rehabilitating the Abeokuta Iburu Ilaro Road in Ogun. And then there's also in Port Harcourt, Eleme Junction, One Port Junction section of the West East Road. Then there's also the rehabilitation of the Ado-Ekiti Afe Babalola University Road in Ekiti. So there are a number of roads that have been mentioned. So we are highlighting this one as well, please.
Is the Agbor bypass?
So far, I haven't seen that yet. Maybe it's in it. We would go and do a detailed look. But so far, from what we've seen, we don't know that yet. But we are highlighting it and using this as an opportunity to mention that's a very key road and needs to be sorted.
Let's see what Nigerians are saying very quickly on X concerning this. The comments are indeed very tough in terms of hard, but we'll try and select some of the best that we can. Let's go straight to X. This one says, all the loan the Edo State governor don't collect, what did he take and do?
I mean, they came to clarify what the loan was. It wasn't that they collected fresh loan. Yeah, they stood as surety for these engineers.
Basic guarantors.
Guarantors of some sort.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what the loan was meant for. Let's see
Next
another
tweet.
one. Very quickly, I was open as soon as an APC governor enter Edo State, all the roads, both federal and state roads, will be immediately
Since they've
fixed.
aligned with the center.
Okay, that's true. But still today, all the bad roads are even worse. Which kind of wickedness is all of this? Instead of Nigeria to progress, it's regression. This is very bad, he says. Okay, let's take this one. This one calls on the governor. Governor Monday Pueblo should come and listen to these people. They don't need your money. Rather, construct new roads for them. That's what they say. Okay. Another tweet very quickly. Umai messed up the entire existing roads from Benin-Agbor bypass and left it for more 1 year. These roads were manageable before. So also is Onisha to Owerri Road, except the Imo axis fixed by Hope Uzodimma.
So,
let's take this one. But your governor went to Osun State the other day to insult Governor Adeleke, as if he has completely finished his own homework. All right, like I said, those are some of the best.
And some of the tweets then also touch on Ogun State. Ogun State, I mean, a lot of the roads there are terrible, terrible. Especially the Songo, Ota axis, E4. People have complained. We've done a special report on it, and nothing seems to have been done. So, Governor Dapo Abiodun, if you're watching, please. The people of Ogun State are groaning under this very terrible conditions. Can you please do something about the state?
I want to ask a question.
In Ogun State.
When you
it's the barest minimum that is expected.
But I want to ask a question. More monies are given to governors. Is that not so?
Yes.
Federal allocation is also given. The highest was in July, if I'm right, and they said it gulped almost 3-point-something trillion naira. It's never been done before. The question everyone is asking, if the governors have more money, their critical infrastructural deficits, that money or these
should
monies
be fixing.
Can fix, not one, no, can fix, if not almost all. And guess what? The FAC allocation, please correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't it come monthly?
It's every month.
So,
and they have their IGRs too.
I'm coming.
Ogun State is very industrial. You have an industrial base there, so they generate quite a lot.
Let's say you're collecting,
in
let's say
terms
you're
of IGR
collecting
too.
for FAC, let's say you're collecting, let's just say 2 billion every month, times 12, 24 billion, times 4 years in office. Do the math. Times another 4 years in office.
2 billion may be a bit.
8 years in office.
I wrote it down.
Without touching, that's just fact, without touching IGR.
Well, fair enough.
If you say, okay, let me take the 8 years of 2 billion per month, let me just take 8 months of 2 billion naira, which is 16 billion, and let me sort out the major roads. Wouldn't you? I don't know. Maybe we're in multiverse. Maybe I have my alternative personality in the multiverse.
Man, and then some of these chief executives, I wonder if they apply these rules and how they feel, because you know it's a concern and it's really embarrassing. I mean, me, I'll personally speaking, I'll fix it from an embarrassing point of view, because I don't see why I should be called Your Excellency and you have this sort of major roads, not just fringe roads in the hinterland. These are roads that are connecting states and major arteries within the states, and for them to be left in the states, it leaves a sour taste in the mouth. Very unfortunate.
Okay, just to take a few comments on YouTube, and then we'll quickly head to our final story. Stanley Amadi says, a driver who plies Asaba to Benin and back to Asaba loaded yesterday, got to the border of Edo, his passengers disembarked and took bike to Benin, and he drove back to Asaba empty. Nigerian says, if they fix all the road, what would they use to campaign in the next election?
And this is 2026. I mean, when Shagari was president 40 years ago, they were saying we'll give you light. So if you died in 1980 and you woke up by mistake in 2026, you think, even in 2027, 2028, you think you're still in 1980. It's unfortunate. What? You look back at different countries. Look at what the United States have achieved. Jim Crow laws in the 60s, segregation, and then you fast forward 40, 50 years later, you have a black president. You know, other countries, your past was dark. Your present and the future should be better. Nigerians reminisce on the past and say, I remember when we used to eat chicken in University of Lagos, when they used to give us...
When dogs had
that's a dysfunctional society.
When you finish your secondary school, you had your...
Even us, in our young... We used to ride bicycles. Now you need to live in a gated, expensive
nowhere to play.
estate for you to have
bicycle,
and for your kids to be able to
walk with your dog, your inner streets and all that. What?
All right, let's quickly move to our next conversation, which is one that is really heartbreaking, you know, because it further shows a divide within our continent. Now, imagine showing up to court to defend your right to stay in the country, only to be met outside by protesters, demanding that you leave. Well, that was a scene in Cape Town, as South Africans gathered outside the regional court during Nigerian beauty queen Chidimma Adetshina's latest legal battle over her immigration status, chanting, "Chidimma, go home." We should have said, "Go back," and displaying placards calling for her departure. The controversy dates back to the 2024 Miss South Africa pageant and later followed Adetshina's move to represent Nigeria, where she went on to win Miss Universe Nigeria. Now, following her June 2026 arrest after South African authorities alleged that she entered the country despite being declared a prohibited person, the dispute has taken another turn. Let's take a look at these videos and then we'll come back to share our thoughts. So we all remember Chidimma Adetshina. Chidimma Adetshina is of Nigerian and Mozambican descent. She was born in South Africa, has lived all her life in South Africa, primary, secondary, gone through the system. There was controversy as to her emerging one of the finalists in Miss South Africa, I believe, just to confirm. Yeah, it was Miss South Africa, and there was controversy because they pushed back on her, her origin. I'm wondering if she was actually South African. As a result, Miss Universe invited her to Lagos, Nigeria, to come and contest. She came, she contested, and did a phenomenal outing and won the Miss Universe Nigeria contest. And that was the beginning of Chidimma's problems. Now, many people say, is it not easy for her to just pack your things and leave? Just come back. They don't like you. If they don't like you, just come back home. We forget that home for Chidimma, whilst nationally and by virtue of her father's state of origin or country of origin, maybe Nigeria on paper. But in reality, home has always been South Africa for her. She was born there, grew up there, has spent her whole years there. Now, the question is, will we say that a child who was born there, who has spent her whole life there, can just pack up her things and leave? Those who argue about the reality of xenophobia in South Africa and how people who have built their lives were asked to pack their things and leave by the 30th of June. And many of them, the whole of their existence was reduced to 2 suitcases, 2 hand luggage, two checked-in luggages and 1 hand luggage. That is what years of living in South Africa was reduced to for them. So honestly, I empathize for Chidimma. It's a sad situation. It's a really sad scenario. It's a reminder about the fragmentation of our continent and how we don't realize that when we're divided and we hate ourselves this much, it is the West that will benefit. It's not to their advantage that Africans don't like each other. And this whole fracas between Nigeria and South Africa, if our leaders, if South African past leaders were to see this, would they be happy? Would they be proud? When we talked about xenophobia, and many would say, why does Nigeria keep bringing up the role? Because Nigeria did play a role in ensuring that apartheid was no longer or should no longer have been a conversation in South Africa. Nigeria played a key role. We're not saying pay us back because we played a role. We're saying let us at the very least be human. Chidimma is not the cause of the problems in South Africa. Chidimma is not the cause of high unemployment rates in South Africa. For them to march and mount a mob against her like that, all of them chanting and singing, Chidimma is not the ANC.
She stole something.
Yes, you would think she's one of their corrupt politicians that you are protesting against. She didn't do any of that. And the people who are championing that, the Operation Dudula people, who go from hospital to hospital looking for quote-unquote illegal migrants, the foreigners make up 5% of South Africa's population. You've sent everybody back home. Are jobs available now?
Nope.
Is the quality of life better?
Nope. Let me also mention very quickly that, I'm going to tilt towards a different aspect. My own angle simply is this. In as much as she has been told to leave, let's also look at the fact that, one, she's from Nigerian descent. Her father is Igbo. Her mother is actually Mozambican. But they grew up in South Africa, Soweto. She stayed there, she grew up there, and she's lived all her life in South Africa. But my own take, Olive, is this. Permit me to go biblical this morning. Even our Lord said, if you go to this place, you're not wanted, what do? Take your leave. We also have examples, there's Ruth and Naomi. When there was issue here, they fled, they left that area. I'm just going to say this. If I could speak to Chidimma one-on-one, I'll tell her and I'll ask her, would you rather live your life in fear, looking out of your window every second because there's somebody who hates you? There are people, not somebody. There's a community, there are numbers of people who hate you, and if they have their way, they will do something negative to you. There's a video, we just showed you one side of the video. There are other videos where the young man who was trying to protect her, they hit his head, and he turned, and they brought items, and they started flinging it. And someone else told him, Oga, move, before it turns chaotic. He had to just quickly move. He was laughing, but you see, at that point, Benga, That's why they say there's nothing like home. Home is home. I know you're a citizen of that particular country, but if that country has decided to pick you as an enemy of the state, that's the word I want to use here, an enemy of the state, which you aren't.
It's several ignorant individuals in that country. I don't think it's official policy for her to be treated like that. And it's unfortunate that the South African police services cannot offer better protection to the lady. But when you fold and give these cowards what they want, because what they want is for you to live. You're enabling that sort of behavior. You're empowering this lunatics.
What has the government done to protect her?
That are doing this.
What has the government done to protect her?
Well, that's a conversation for another day.
See, I want to look at this. You know where?
You can't, and like Olive said, you've built your entire life around. This is where you know.
Life.
You can't just up and
let's use ourselves as an example. If
Life.
for some reason today you find out, Joe, that your mother, yes, there are allegations of fraud and identity theft against our mother. Let's imagine our mothers. We hear that there was an allegation of fraud and identity theft. We've gone on to build our life. Joe, you have children. You've settled here. All of a sudden, one day they wake up and ask you to leave Nigeria. You're no longer Nigerian. Even though you have a Nigerian passport, the case is that your passport should be revoked. You should uproot your life. Joe, you will never feel at home anywhere else but here.
I mean, my mom is Togolese. She's lived in Nigeria before I was born. Are they going to?
They will now come and say exactly because you're. Do you understand?
So I get your point, but again, I'm going to state this: with what she has been receiving from time memorial, ever since the pageant up until now, I can bet you that lady is not sleeping with eyes closed. She's not. She would have security agents walking with her everywhere she goes to, 3, 4, maybe 2. How long will she keep living that life? That's a false life. That's a false narrative. That's a false.
Well, the citizens don't have a right to harass her.
Yes, they don't. But Benga, let's go back to the same xenophobic issue. Is it not until they've departed, all Nigerians have left, there's repatriation, that the president, the same president, came on TV to say he doesn't know why they acted that way just last week.
You know,
last week.
We find it fashionable to bash Nigeria, but for all our flaws, we're a wonderful host. And I don't think a group like Operation Dudula
or Match
can exist in Nigeria.
No.
Even fellow Nigerians will clamp down on you and say, why are you oppressing?
We have South Africans in Nigeria. Even with the xenophobia that Nigerians experience in South Africa.
And they need to force all of them to read history books and understand the sacrifice that the rest of Africa made for their freedom.
This is my personal opinion. Dear Chidimma, if there's a way you can restart all over again, moving to another country. See, Olive, let me share something with you.
It's about protecting life, and this life is one. The sanctity of life.
Yes. Not 1, not 2, not 3, who had to leave the East and relocate to Lagos. Not 1, not 2, not 3. He had to move all his family to Lagos. When you start receiving letters, threats, this, that, and then he walked up, good enough, he's a person of, he has good networking. And he went on to the government and said, listen, this is thing, I had an altercation with a certain family, this was the risk, this is a danger, these are the threats, look at what they're doing. And at the end of the day, when it seems like the government is supposed to even protect you was not offering that protection, when you put 1 and 2 together, I can bet you that, let me ask either both of you here, can our dear Chidimma walk freely to a superstore alone now and buy things and walk back home strolling on the streets alone?
There is wisdom in what you're saying. I'm not going to
She can't.
Because her life is more important than any passport or any citizenship. What we are saying is it is unfair how she has been treated, how she's been blacklisted, how she's been mobbed and attacked is very unfair. But it points to a deeper underlying issue. Chidimma is the face of a deeper problem between Nigeria and South Africa. And it's high time our leaders find a way to resolve this. Sit down. I don't know what needs to be done. Honestly, sitting here, I can't tell you that I know what needs to be done. But there's a deeper problem, a deeper underlying issue that needs to be resolved. South Africans need to also have a form of resolution within themselves. They need to learn to hold their government to account because it feels that they want to blame everybody else but their leaders regarding what's happening in their country. They're not pleased with their quality of life, but they want to blame everybody else but their leaders. We are not pleased with the quality of life in Nigeria, but we don't go about harassing people. It's a failure on your immigration if there are lots of illegal people. It's a failure on your immigration laws, and having them going to take the laws into your hands, going to the streets, asking random people to show their documentation. we've really fallen to the lowest of lows. It is very deplorable behavior. It should not be encouraged. The government, the South African president should come out and speak about this.
But he has.
No, but
He spoke last week.
Yes, well, unfortunately, the thing is, with regards to the speaking, unfortunately, I feel like the speaking has happened a little too late. But he should come and speak about the Chidimma situation. I don't know if he spoke about the Chidimma situation.
And imagine the South African government having the audacity to say that Nigeria, Malawi, and other countries should pick up the cost of deportation of their citizens from South Africa.
Anyway, just a few comments here. The funny side, okay, regarding this one, Lillian Oloha, unfortunately, I didn't watch it yesterday,
you know the funny thing.
I will get to watch the
truth.
recap.
Should Chidimma, I mean, this is a personal decision again, and it's personal. Should Chidimma decide to move to Nigeria, I have a strong belief she will do very well.
Of course she will do better.
She will do fantastically well.
Nigeria has welcomed her with open arms.
She would.
Which is why this comment, Felix Okechukwu says, low-key, that Chidimma doesn't like Nigeria, and I don't agree with that. It's just, again, that's all she has known. In response, you know, Maurice Moyen says, but she's lived all her life in SA. Where's she going to? It's like you being sent out of Nigeria. Where do you start from? And that's the truth.
And it's not for
Let's
us to
put ourselves
tell her
in her picture, you know, in her shoes, rather.
Guys.
She's lived all her life in South Africa. Evangelist Top Gabriel says, Queen Joe Olive, thank you very much for adding that, Queen. I love it. Queen Joe and
you should address us as Mr.
Olive.
Joe.
I'm Prince.
He said this South Africa issue will never stop if the president of affected countries like pre-Tinubu had not actions to take. The SA government is also supporting this nonsense. And then he said, Joe, you have valid points, please. Benga, my name is Queen. Add Olive to the Queen, please. He said, staying alive is the most important thing. Until when you're alive, you can talk of your right. And then Osa says, this is a valid point. He says, a home is a place where you feel safe, accepted, and at ease, even if it's not where you're from. Home can always change. I've been outside Nigeria for 10 years now, and this is my present home. I completely understand that.
It says, but I hope you complete your statement before we wrap up.
I don't know, Napoleon, I want to take this comment, but I don't know what this is referring to. But regarding the increased
It's fine. Let's wrap
allocations, and we'll talk about that one much later.
Time to go. Let's bring to you our top stories for today here on Breakfast Central. This morning on Breakfast Central, we'll take a look at former Governor Okorocha sues INEC over Uzodimma's candidacy. U.S. Congressman opposes Nigeria's country of particular concern lift. Oh, okay. We'll look into that. And another story, road to 2027. We're talking about the campaigns that started already. And not forgetting to the winning governor, the dancing governor, hails the president.
President Tinubu said you did not conquer anything. Only won elections.
The front pages of the newspapers too. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
A fresh political battle is unfolding in Imo State ahead of the 2027 general elections. Former Imo State Governor Senator Rochas Okorocha has approved the Federal High Court, or approached the Federal High Court rather, to challenge the recognition of Governor Hope Uzodimma as the APC candidate for the Imo West Senatorial District.
Okorocha is asking the courts to avoid INEC's publication of Uzodimma's name and instead recognize him as a duly nominated candidate, arguing that he emerged winner of the party's May 18 primary. The suit also raises constitutional questions over Uzodimma's eligibility to contest for the Senate while he's still the current governor. His tenure as governor is due to run until January 2028. As the legal battle begins, the dispute is once again putting the spotlight on party primaries, INEC's role, and the growing political rivalry within the APC in Imo State. Joining us as we discuss this is public affairs analyst Mr. Dotua John. Good morning to you. Bright Friday it is. Welcome to Breakfast Central. Not in the studio this time, but virtually.
Yes, to see you joining us from Abuja.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
Good morning.
Interesting story this morning, I must say.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So you have a sitting governor whose tenure will last till 2028, 27, 28, and he's already preparing to go into the Senate. He's not done with his tenure yet, though. Yet the one who says, I am not in government yet, but I'm the eligible person to go in there because I won the primaries. How do we begin to imagine this, that this can even happen in this country or at this time?
So this can be extremely surprising to a non-politician. But for a politician, it's not as surprising. Let me tell you, let me make this point very clear, that retirement is a scary thing in Nigeria. Nobody wants to go on retirement. You see the protests by former military officers and soldiers. So politically too, I think many of our political players do not also want to go on retirement. So you are sitting now and you're planning what's next. But before I go into that, one very important thing that I need to talk about is the process that actually makes a candidate in any political party. I pity INEC. I sincerely pity INEC. INEC in the hands of Nigerian politicians is really a pitiable situation because, come to think of it, there's a clear guideline as to how an aspirant becomes a candidate. Now, the first thing is that you pick up your nomination form from your own political party, expression of interest form, you fill same, and you return it to your political party. Your political party writes INEC that, oh, they want to do primary election. In this case, what they have is that it's either they do a consensus primary election or they do the all-comers primary election, which is a direct primary election. And when INEC officials come, as a matter of responsibility, they are supposed to monitor that primary election. And when they monitor the primary election, they generate an independent report, which is independent because it is not dictated by the political party. It is their observation in the primary election. So they write down the name of the winners, having counted the vote in this situation of a direct primary, or having listened to the consensus announcement. They write down the name of the candidate. They take the name to their own office. Now, from this process that I've explained, the work of the political party is to invite INEC to come and supervise the primary election, is to push forward the name of aspirant. It is the duty of INEC to now write the name of the winner. They take it back to their office and they write it down. In the states, they do a report that contains the name of all the winners. They send it to Abuja. It is not the political party that sends to INEC. It is INEC independent report. Now, so when they take it to INEC, INEC has a portal where the credentials of candidates are supposed to be submitted. Now, the credential of the candidate you are submitting as a political party must match with the report of INEC. So if it does not match, then that means that you cannot submit the name of that candidate. Now, what we have seen political parties do is that after they've invited INEC to come and supervise or to come and monitor election, after INEC might have generated their independent report, the political party will now, because it is actually the duty of the national office of every political party to communicate directly with INEC. Now, after INEC might have generated their own report, submitted it from the state, you will now see that the national office now will now generate an independent letter writing the name of their candidate. In most cases, you will see that the name of these candidates are different from the one that INEC generates from the primary election. So they now send it to the national office of INEC. Now there's conflict of what is INEC going to rely on? Is it the report generated by its own officials who monitor the primary election, or the letter that is sent by the headquarters of all these political parties to INEC? And that's why this morning, I think when we continue to have a situation like this, because people have gone to court, they've been back and forth about this matter, even before this preparation for 2027. And one of the things what embodies political party to continue to do this is that they've had majority of court cases come back to them to say, oh, party has the capacity to actually determine who represent them at the end of the day. But what a lot of people are not talking about is that political party has this power, but it should not be against the laid down principle or the laid down electoral process that is not only backed by law, but is backed by logic and is backed by practice.
Now, Mr. Ojon, you just talked about INEC supervising the dispute over the figures, but beyond that, there's an issue which I feel supersedes all of this. And I'm even wondering where the audacity came from. Let's talk about the constitutional eligibility. Former Governor Okorocha's lawsuit highlights a significant legal conflict. Section 183 of the 1999 Constitution. Uzodimma's second term, as was established in the beginning of this show, does not expire until the 14th of January 2028, while the Senate, which he wants to contest elections for, will be inaugurated in June of 2027. Okorocha argues that a sitting governor cannot legally hold or contest another elective office that overlaps with the current tenure. I mean, is this not commonsensical to all of us? So why is he testing the waters? Why is he going ahead to do this if it's unconstitutional? Or is there a way the lawyers can spin it in his favor?
Before you conclude, Benga, let me tell you you know you are not a politician, so you may not see the logic in what Uzodimma is doing.
Well,
but let me make it clear to Nigerians this morning. Yeah, it can be annoying, but constitutionally, a sitting governor has the right to contest for another election. We must be very clear on that. For instance, a sitting governor can contest and say, oh, I am going for a second term. In the case of Adeleke, there's nothing that violates the Constitution by contesting. But this is where the problem is, and we need to be very careful here. The problem now is that you cannot hold two offices together at the same time. So you cannot be sitting as a governor and still be sitting as a senator. And let me tell you what Uzodimma is thinking. And it can be logical or illogical, but this is what he's thinking at this point in time. He's thinking that once he wins that election, he's going to resign by June 2027 and go and join them at the Senate. And once he resigns as a governor, his deputy automatically becomes a governor. Now, why is this a bit annoying? It is annoying because the state will pay more. Number one, Uzodimma will not be able to pay attention to his duty as a governor from now. He still has over 1 year. Now he's thinking about how to go to the Senate. So that means that he's going to cheat the state on that. Number two, on the issue of his pension, he's also going to cheat the state because when he resigns now, he's going to have all the perks of office, all the perks that comes with resignation. He's going to have his gratuity, he's going to have his official car, he's going to have his house, and all of that. Now, instead of having only that one, the person that will come to replace him after about 1 year or two will also have access to the same retirement package. So instead of getting one retirement package, the state will be paying two instead of paying one. This is where it becomes a bit annoying. But as to whether he has the power to contest election, he has that right. But he does not have the right to hold two offices at the same time. And if you say you are sitting as a governor, that you don't want to go and resume in the Senate, you also don't have the right to hold the ticket of the people, to deny them representation for more than a certain period of time. So what Uzodimma is thinking now is that I am going to leave as a governor and allow my deputy to take over. And what is permutating is when I return to the Senate, I will be one of the most experienced and connected Southeast senators. So I can be able, at that instance, I can be able to grab the seat of the Senate president. But again, the people within the leadership of the Senate are also thinking, how do we prevent people that are coming to take a Akpabio's seat from taking it? So they too within the House, they are making all manner of internal rules and house rules to ensure that, to prevent people like Uzodimma, who is eager to come in and take the seat of the Senate president, from becoming one. But don't let us forget, today, a lot of people in Imo State still call Governor Hope Uzodimma Supreme Court governor, because they believe that without the help of the Supreme Court, there was somehow he would have become the governor. But again, to a certain extent, within the political circle, the conversations that people are having that I'm privy to is that Hope Uzodimma is extremely connected within the political circle, and he has a way of getting whatever it is that he wants. So as his eyes are fixed now on getting the seat of Akpabio, at the end of the day, he may actually get it. There are a lot of cards for him to play, including the card of ethnicity, that is a core Southeasterner. And as a result of that, that he can have access to become the Senate president for the issue of spread and ethnic consideration. So these are some of the permutations. He can contest, but he cannot hold two offices together at the same time. And talking about what he's thinking presently is to resign as the governor to go resume by June at the Senate.
So therein lies my worry and concern about how our executive arm runs governance in Nigeria, where one person is in office, your tenure is not yet done, you're already thinking of the next level. And it looks like our legislative arm has become a retirement plan for the executive arm. Governor Alex Oti, for governors, exactly. Yeah, for governors. Now, in 2024, Governor Alex Oti had signed a bill repealing lifetime pensions for Abia State governors and their deputies. He scrapped the 2001 law signed by Ojus Okalu. And this has been a core argument. Why would you have served as governor and then you leave office? You're still getting lifetime pensions and getting all the same things that were due you as a governor, and then you're serving as a senator and you're getting from both ends. Is that not cheating the people? Is that not a wasteful spending of taxpayers' money? So how then do we ensure that... Okay, once you're answering, is it possible to speak to, that position? You have to make a point. Yeah, let's speak to that position and then speak to what we need to do as a nation to ensure that our legislative arm does not become a retirement plan for the executive or stops being a retirement plan for the executive.
So there's nothing, as our political structure is made today, there's nothing anybody can do to stop that as we speak at the moment, because our concentration as a people is always about who becomes the president. Oh, it must be Atiku. Oh, it must be Peter Obi. Oh, it must be Tinubu. And in the process of this, our concern and our concentration, a lot of things happen that we don't pay attention to. For instance, we don't care who goes to the House of Reps. We don't care who becomes the senator. We are only so concerned about who becomes the president. And this is why a sitting governor will leave his office. Even it is so annoying for some of the sitting governors who didn't do nothing with the huge allocations that they got, and they find their way to Senate. And why is that so? I have spoken to you about the concept of traditional leadership. In Africa, leadership is about ruling and reigning throughout life. When you become the traditional ruler of your community, you reign from birth to death. And that is what we have imported also into our democratic practice. And because executive arm, as it were, is tenured, so you can only do 8 years as a governor. The only arm of government that is not tenured, as it were, is the legislative arm. So you can actually go to the Senate for as many times as possible. For example, let me make example of our former labor leader. I go to the Senate as many times as possible because he's outspoken, he is brilliant, and he's a former governor. And as long as he has the backing of his governor and his party, he can continue to go. So the only way to exercise our traditional mindset of ruling throughout life is to go to the parliament, to the parliament. And that's exactly what's happening at the moment. But again, we need to be very careful about the conversation around pension. Now, when you retire as a sitting governor, you take your lump sum, what we know as gratuity. It's a payoff, whatever name they call it. Then in some states, you have access to about 3 cars and domestic staff, and in some cases, you even have access to a house. But immediately you become a senator, the privilege of receiving salary stops immediately. That means as you are a former governor, when you sit as a senator, you will not be collecting salary as a former governor. Now, you cannot draw salary from the state and the federal government at the same level. So you will only be relying on the salary that you get as a senator. But immediately you leave as a senator, you go back to receiving salary as a former governor. So that is how that works. Is it logical? No. Do we need that in Nigeria? No. Especially as expensive as our government expenditure becomes year in, year out. We do not need that. but that is the practice. And I want to charge our people, please pay attention to those people who represent you. When the issue of Electoral Act came up, the question that a lot of people were asking is that, were there no dissenting voices within the Senate and the House of Representatives? Didn't we have other people from other political parties? People won on the platform of Labour Party. Where are they today? So you must pay attention to people who actually represent you at the parliament, because at the end of the day, law is a destiny direction. Budget is a destiny direction. And these are the things that primarily concern your legislators. But if your attention is always about who becomes the president, then at the end of the day, I fear to say that you cannot have charlatans around any community and expect that citizens will become champions.
Okay, I mean, as we wind down this conversation, if the court, this is just a case of if, rules in favor of Okorocha, are we going to see INEC move to actually withdraw Chidimma's name and recognize Okorocha as the APC candidate? I mean, asking this question, by the way, is also, I'm also having a side of me that is saying this question is also, it shouldn't be valid because it's
almost like you're preempting the court.
Yeah, that's one. And secondly, is it even right in the first instance that someone is a governor and is already preparing his seat? And who's going to hold on to that?
He's ready to resign.
Is he resigning immediately? And just to follow up with what Joe has said.
Imagine if he resigns and he loses.
In Edo State, when Philip Obaseki, why am I mixing up his name? The former deputy governor of Edo State.
Tribal.
The governor was Obaseki.
The governor was Obaseki. When Philip Shaibu was running against Governor Obaseki, part of the criticism against Philip Shaibu was the fact that many said he spent majority of his time as deputy governor running and campaigning, at least towards the end of his time, campaigning for office as opposed to facing governance. So at what point does this become, you look at the legal perspective and also really a disservice to the citizens that voted you to lead them and to govern them? And if you know that you had intentions to serve in the legislative arm, why not just stay away? Must you be in the spotlight
Must you
at every
always
point?
be in office?
Okay, so nobody wants to go on retirement. That's what I open with. Nobody wants to go on retirement in Nigeria. Everybody wants to stay, especially in politics. Let me tell you, you can be this low today and you get a political appointment, and the political appointment just throws you to this point. Like you can be sleeping in a hotel of 1.5 before you get a political appointment. And immediately you become something in politics, you now begin to sleep in a 150,000 naira hotel every night.
There's no hotel of 1.5, just to clarify. Maybe 20 years, maybe 30 years ago.
No, not 30 years ago.
Just telling you that
15 years ago.
The way politics just throws you up, it just takes you up to a point that nobody wants to leave. So it's not logical. And I've said it repeatedly, that one of the reasons why politicians just want to stay put is not just because of the perks of office and all of that. It's the tolerance of the Nigerian people. There are a lot of things that happen that we tolerate that should not happen. One of them is this instance. Now, in a tenure of 4 years, I have never pointed to one politician that have spent 3 years on governance. No, none. In fact, when they even win a second term, and you're thinking that, oh, okay, he doesn't have another election to run, maybe we concentrate on governance. It's a lie. After 2 years, it's not concerned about who succeeds him and explain all the bitter politics. So it's a great disservice to the people. In biblical philosophy, the concept of 4 years is to perfect that. It is to express the belief that anything can be done within 4 years. That's where this democratic 4 years tenure came from. A lot of people don't know that it came from biblical philosophy of, because Jesus was passing one time. Allow me to quickly pass in this. Jesus was passing, Pastor. And there was a situation. Yes. Leave me. Jesus was passing, and there was a tree that was not producing anything. And the disciples were engaging him. And they said, oh, these 3 years, this one has not produced anything. And he said, let's give the tree additional 1 year. That's where the philosophy of 4 year tenure comes from. And when democratic governance came aboard, it is an agreement. It is the belief that if a tenure of 4 years should be enough for any reasonable person to have been able to do something tangible within our community. But what do we have today? People are supposed to spend 4 years, but they do 2 years on governance, and the remaining 2 years, they are using it to run from pillar to post. And when you even re-elect them, they can't even complete a whole 6 years on governance. They are running again. And thank God that after godfatherism, what we've been seeing now is fight. Those people that spent 2 years to bring people into office, what have you seen? Those they brought into office have spent their first 2 years fighting them. And I think this will also teach us a bit of a lesson. So it's pure disservice to the people. It is politically enjoyable to politicians. It is politically logical to politicians. But to the people, I don't think it's something that we should continue to encourage.
I mean, it's why you will see us introducing someone as governor and saying the governor of so-and-so state, senator this.
Governor,
like,
senator.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Beyond the legal argument to it, there's a numbers, and that's in court. There's a numbers argument to it. Do we have an explanation for that? Because if, so you say 150,000, 100 and I think 2,000. So the numbers argument, if truly Uzodimma did not win, why is he announced as a winner?
Well, the courts will decide.
Oh, unfortunately, it seems that we've lost connection.
Thank you so much.
So,
okay. If you can, in 30 seconds.
I need to make it very clear. It was not only in... Okay, so it is not only in Imo State. They did not make any announcement. What APC did is that immediately they received those reports, they just wrote to INEC directly the name of people they wanted as their candidate. So they didn't make any announcement. And unfortunately for them, some of their committees that were sent to states have actually made an announcement as to the winners in those states. But the National did not counter that claim. They didn't do anything. All they just did, they just wrote to INEC. This is the list of our candidate. And I think you also saw the list, which is not supposed to be so. The process should be very clear. The people at the state should INEC at the state should write to National, and at the end of the day, they submit the credential of whosoever wins election. But let's continue to look at how the court will actually treat this matter.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. John. Thanks for joining us. Let's wait and see what the court will actually do. I mean, it's just mind-blowing. I cannot wrap my head around it that you are in an office, you are already preparing the next office for 2 years. Come on. Thanks for joining us, and have a great day. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll look at another conversation here on Breakfast Central. Stay with us.
You're welcome back to Breakfast Central. U.S. Congressman Riley Moore has opposed any move to remove Nigeria from the U.S. countries of particular concern, CPC list, arguing that the Nigerian government has not done enough to address recurring attacks on Christian communities. This position comes as Washington and Abuja continue discussions on religious freedom and security issues following Nigeria's designation as a CPC in October 2025. Moore's comments follow the recent attacks in Plateau and the latest meetings of the United States-Nigeria Joint Working Group on Religious Freedom. While U.S. and Nigerian officials say both countries have identified measures to improve protection for vulnerable communities and strengthen accountability, the lawmakers insist the situation on the ground does not justify lifting the designation. Nigeria was first designated a country of particular concern in 2020, removed from the list in 2021 and redesignated in 2025 over concerns about religious freedom violations. The CPC designation allows the United States to increase diplomatic pressure, consider additional measures against countries accused of severe violations of religious freedom. Join us this morning to discuss this. We're joined by Global Affairs Analyst, Mr. Collins Nweke.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nweke, for joining us. We also
Thank you so much, Wenga and Olive. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. It's great to have you. Also joined this morning by a former worldwide board member, Nigerians in Diaspora Organization, NIDO, Professor Jalili Adebi. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity to join the conversation. And happy birthday to Mr. Collins.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you.
Thank you,
Happy birthday, Mr. Nweke. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, let's start with why Nigeria is a country of particular concern and the impact of this. I'll start with you, Mr. Nweke. what really is the impact of Nigeria still remaining a country of particular concern before we then come into the pushback, or why Riley Moore is pushing back against us being removed from, that list?
Well, it's a rather long story. Like Benga actually prefaced, this is redesignation. I mean, that word is key. The reason it's key is because in 2020, under Joe Biden, Nigeria was, under Donald Trump, his first coming, Nigeria was designated a country of particular concern. It was under Joe Biden that, that was lifted, and following his second coming, in 2025, just last year, he reinstated Nigeria in that list. Well, the reason cited is obvious. It's obvious because we know that, terrorism is actually ravaging Nigeria. But in this particular case, and that is where the controversy is, a single religion has been, pointed out to say that the Christians are the ones suffering, persecution. As a matter of fact, they called it genocide. Now, there is no doubt that bad things are happening in Nigeria, but some have argued that it is happening both to Christians and, Muslims as well. And so the basis upon which, the United States under Donald Trump designated Nigeria CPC has become contestable. Now, the latest intervention by Congressman Riley Moore should not be dismissed by Nigeria. The killing of at least 24 people in Mangu, Plateau State, coming immediately after the U.S.-Nigeria CPC working group meeting, makes this concern, particularly understandable. But this cannot become a contest between Congressman Moore and the Nigerian government. The real question is, are Nigerians becoming safer? Where Christians, are targeted because they are Christians, we must call it religious persecution. But where Muslims are murdered by extremists, or where terrorism, criminality, land, ethnicity, religious interest, intersect, our diagnosis must equally be honest. Nigeria should therefore not concentrate on, getting the CPC designation removed. It should instead create the security, justice, and governance conditions that make the designation impossible to justify. So for me, the answer to Washington is not indignation, it is evidence, and the onus is on Nigeria to provide the evidence that less Nigerians are dying, whether Christians or Muslims.
Okay, I'd like to bring Professor Jalili Adebi into the conversation. And my question now is for us to step back a bit and look at the greater picture, because people are saying, what's this CPC list, and who gives the right to make a country of particular concern? Because they look at the United States that is assigning all these designations and say, look, is the United States itself not a country of particular concern? Because they provide support to Israel, which has attacked and killed so many people in the country with the largest Christian population in the Middle East. I'm talking about Lebanon. They also look at what the United States conduct in Venezuela has been, kidnapping a sitting president and his wife, and also the president bragging about stealing billions of their oil. And the latest report from Financial Times is that over $4 billion in Venezuelan gold in the Bank of England has been confiscated and will be transferred to the United States. And they also look at the unnecessary war of aggression in Iran, 168 girls murdered on the first day of the war. That who gives the United States the right to assign a country as a country of particular concern when their own conduct is not worthy of emulation? So let's start with that. Do they have a right to point fingers at Nigeria when they're not holier than thou?
Yeah, thank you so much for bringing this perspective to frame the conversation. And obviously, it's a very interesting perspective to me. But a much more interesting dimension, which I think we need to focus on, is that United States did not wake up one day by itself and of itself and threw out that designation, country of particular concern. I followed the ignoble development in Nigeria, the rise in incidences of terrorism, which is being combated by the government, and the issue of insurgency, and the issue of cattle rustling, ethnic conflict across mosaic of zones that are characterized by all forms of complexities. You know, they have their historical crises that sometimes are framed misleadingly as religious issues. And they also have historical border concerns that many times erroneously and disingenuously gapped as religiously motivated. And this is where I really get worried about it, because many Nigerians who felt the government was not doing enough, some Nigerians who felt the government was not doing enough, were the ones that were actually calling on the United States to intervene in this matter. And that is one thing that shouldn't be lost on us. Because when we say the US is the one taking this action unilaterally, I won't think that is the case. And we've seen this kind of orientation in national conversation centering on Nigeria. If elections are going to be lost, opposition members are likely to call on the US to place certain politicians in the country on a visa ban. And what that means is that we are inviting such an interference in the affairs of Nigeria. And it's understandable why a Republican president or some extraction of the Congress leadership from the Republican Party will listen to the cries for help coming from some section of the affected communities in Nigeria. Because the Republican Party prides itself as a party that is framed around the forward principles of Christianity. And that's something to pay some attention to. So for me, I don't see this kind of intervention as helping us to overcome our national crisis. And my appeal is to those who are calling on the US to do the designation, to assist them, to think twice, even more than twice, about these issues. Because after all said and done, Nigerians will still have to square up with these important unresolved questions. Because when you look at this environment we are talking about, especially in the Middle East, majority of the places, they have this ethnic mosaic. And what that means is that ethnic mosaic means they have their own ethnic histories. You have the Idomas, you have the Igala, you have the Tiv. They are dominantly Christian. But majority, that is not their only identity. They are dominantly Christian, one, but their ethnicity is also part of their identity. And the ethnicity is tied to the question of land. And that's something to pay some attention to. And a lot of this issue is rooted in controversy surrounding the question of land. So when we reduce such a complex issue to a religious issue, it is, as far as I'm concerned, an invitation to exacerbation of the existing crisis. The other thing that must not be lost on us is the pluralism that characterizes this part of the country. There's always this disingenuous attempt at painting a picture that is not true that this place is homogeneous. It is not true. We have a high level of religious pluralism in this area. And that is something to also pay some attention to. Why? We have a mix of Christians, Muslim, and traditionists in this area. That must not be lost on us. So the moment we frame attack against people as one particular religion being affected, I don't think we are on the pathway to building a peaceful environment. Building a peaceful environment, we recognize that there are issues to be addressed that cannot be swept under the carpet. And there are grievances to be addressed that cannot be swept under the carpet. And what that means is that all of us, we need to come to the table, willing to pour out our minds, and at the same time finding a solution that will ensure the protection of everybody. If everyone is seeking for a big brother that will assist them to fight their fight, what that means is that religious A goes after a big brother, religious C presses another level, religious D presses another level. And at the end of the day, as the saying goes, especially among the Yorubas, it is the grass that suffer in a battle that involves elephants. And that's something I want us to pay attention to as Nigeria. The other issue is the issue of, the middle belt identity. It's a big issue. It's not as simplified as it is being constructed and a role to frame this conversation. Because when you think about identity, there are so many things embedded in the concept of identity. One, culture is part of it. And when you think about culture, religious infuses element into our culture. Our ethnicity infuses element into our culture. And there are several positionality issues that infuse element into our culture. Even the identity is politically constructed. And that is why when you go to the word middle belt, it is often used to distinguish the regional indigenous Christian minority group from the dominant Hausa Fulani Muslim population of the northern extraction. That by itself also plays into, why the problem is not being resolved. So for me, I believe what we need to do as a country is to recognize that after all said and done, Nigeria is a sovereign nation. As a people, we should be able to sit down, be honest with ourselves, and try and find reasonable solutions to this problem. And part of that is that we need new set of leadership in that region.
All right.
Leadership.
Okay. Professor Jolini, I mean, you've highlighted these points, but let's go back to Collins very quickly. Do you think that as we go through this entire process as a country, trying to get our names off the list, do you think the United States is convinced? Or the reason why they still don't want that name off is because they're not fully convinced yet? I mean, just a fortnight, we saw what happened in Plateau State. Killings doubled. People were wondering what's going on. The governor did come out to say he was going to do more. So it still seems like it's neither here nor there. But do you think that the U.S. is not wanting to remove Nigeria from the CPC list because of the fact that they're not fully convinced?
Well, Joe, essentially what you're asking is, is the United States convinced that Nigeria is doing enough? Look, my straightforward answer to that is no, they feel that Nigeria is not yet doing enough. But that doesn't mean that Nigeria is doing nothing. I mean, I personally commend, the government for choosing engagement rather than indignation. It sent a whole of government delegation to Washington and is engaging through an institutional bilateral mechanism. But diplomacy is an input, whereas safety in itself is an output. Now, commend the engagement, measure the delivery. And I believe that once the delivery is measurable, you would then make it impossible for the United States to continue to have Nigeria's name on that list. So essentially what Nigeria is concerned about, and that is why they took time out to send a highest level delegation, is to make it difficult through evidence, through efforts that they have made, through the fact that people are prosecuted, to make it impossible for the United States to continue Nigeria's name in that list. So they haven't managed to do that. And to be honest with you, it will surprise me if Nigeria expected that, while they are flying out of the United States, that, Nigeria's name will make it off the list. I want to believe that getting out of the U.S., they have, some 5 things on their notes. One is data, credible incident and casualty mapping. 2 is early warning, identifying vulnerable communities before attacks. Number 3 should be rapid response, which is security forces must arrive before the massacres, not afterwards, Number 4 should be prosecution. Arrests are, blatantly insufficient. You must show convictions. And then finally, benchmarks. They need to agree with the United States measurable targets, and publish progress. Now, it doesn't look to me that if any benchmarks were, agreed at the Washington meeting, that, those benchmarks have been met. So Nigeria should not ask, what must we say to get off the list? What Nigeria should be asking is, what must we do so that keeping us on the list becomes indefensible?
Absolutely. And that brings me to this, to my next question to you, Professor Jalili Adebi. What must we do to make keeping us on the list indefensible? Are you happy with Nigeria's efforts so far? Because it seems, apart from the military front, Nigeria is also paying lobbyists in Washington to paint a rosy picture of things happening back home. What must we do for the sake of our own people to ensure that every Nigerian life is sacred, to end this very sad incidents of terrorism and killings across the country?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm not a fan of the concept of arrested sovereignty. It's something that bothers my mind a lot, and I see this playing out. It is an extension of imperialism based on my own thoughts. And I'm also worried about tokenistic reactions to these issues. Meeting with folks in Washington, developing a list of what to do, I don't think that is the starting point, honestly.
What do you recommend?
And I don't think that should be the framework for accountability. I think the government of Nigeria needs to see to the communities affected. And the onus of accountability should reside with the communities affected. We spent sufficient time going to Washington, holding conversation with Washington for the purposes of optics, because it looks bad internationally. So what I think we need to do is to be authentic. The power, the sovereignty to govern the country comes from our people, not from the people of the United States, not from Europeans, not from Asia. So we need to begin to take that mandate seriously. As a country, we need to do enough, going to those communities that are affected, holding genuine conversations with them, developing interventions that we are going to work on collectively and genuinely to help restore authentic peace to the area. If steps are made today, we are reporting to Washington, D.C. What that means is that we are not taking our own people seriously. Because if there are issues in the United States, Americans are not going to be calling on Europeans to help them out. Americans are going to take their leadership to account and ensure they do the right thing. And what we've seen of recent in Nigeria, it shows that the people are beginning to realize the enormity of power that resides in them. So that is one thing I believe we need to be doing differently. And how do we go about this? There are steps you can take. One, the urgency of this matter need to be an issue on the ballot. If there are concerns you have affecting your community, put it on the ballot. That's one option. What that means is that it becomes a point of election, a point of debate, a point of contestation on the ballot. And whoever the people feels is better positioned to help find solutions to this problem, they can use the power of the ballot to elect those individuals into offices. That, to me, is a pathway to finding pragmatic solutions to the problem. Second thing, we need to begin to look at religious leaders, community leaders who are truly invested in finding solutions to this problem. I'm very sorry. We seem not to have reasonable leaders, enough of them, on either side of the divide. We are sick and tired of the bloodletting. It is not helping anybody. So we need those who are sick of this development on either side of the divide come together and let us develop a framework. If they were able to do this without the help of international countries in Rwanda, we can do better. I've met folks who came from Rwanda, and you dare not talk about the Houthis and the Tutsis. No, they will shut it down, even here in the United States. And I've listened to them. And not just one, not two, at least close to 30 or 40 of them. And one of the lessons I learned from the Rwanda incident is that there were people that stood up and that actually wanted this problem addressed.
All right.
There were very difficult concessions that will need to be made. One, climate change. I want to bring this as a professor to drive this conversation. When you look at some of the issues at bear, I was talking about the identity, and part of that identity is another construct, the issue of livelihood. Majority of those that are farmers in this particular axis, they're Christians. It's a form of livelihood. Majority of those that are into livestock, production, rearing, they are Hausa Fulanis. And the issue of climate change is biting. That is affecting agriculture. That's a big one. It's not going to lessen. The climate change crisis is going to exacerbate over time. And if we continue to say this religion, that religion, climate change doesn't recognize any religion. It does what it needs to do, create a stressor. Everybody's dealing with the stressor. The farmer will be stressed out. Those that are into livestock production, they'll be stressed out. It doesn't recognize any ethnicity. It doesn't recognize any history. Everybody's going to be looking for how do they mitigate the impact of climate change. Now that you are dealing with such an addition, a very, very difficult addition in this particular maze, do we still continue to run to the United States to find solutions to this? No. We need to come back to our own traditional senses and look at ways we can sit down and find solutions to this problem. And that is why the issue of engagement needs to be approached. And I'm very happy that News Central TV has been taking on very difficult discussion in Nigeria. We really need to thank the leadership of News Central TV. You've been taking on very difficult discussion in Nigeria. I guess your town hall meetings might be instrumented to help find solution to this problem. We need to look at that because I've been following your town hall meetings, how you're empowering people, and it seems to me that a lot of good things can actually come through this kind of arrangement rather than be coming up with a matrix that somebody who's seeking election and needs to speak to his home base in another country. It's not going to say we do this, we do that in Nigeria. Otherwise, its designation is not going to remove. Nigerians love America. America loves Nigeria. I can tell you that for the fact. Nigeria loves America. I, for one, I won't want us to be part of anything that will affect the diplomatic relationship between Nigeria and the United States. It's something that we should value, it's something that we need to protect. And I believe this kind of conversation is beginning to encroach on that diplomatic ties, cultural ties that we have maintained with the United States over the years.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. We'll continue to follow through with this story and see what the next steps are. But like you've mentioned, more importantly, our leaders need to understand that they have to be held to account. And the first place why we got redesigned or redesignated as a country of particular concern is because we have insecurity challenges that need to be fixed, and we'll continue to hold them to account. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to break now. When we come back, we have more conversations coming up this morning, so please stay with us.
Thanks for staying with us on Breakfast Central. Let's take a look at some of the biggest stories making the headlines on Breakfast Headlines as we start off with security matters. The Department of State Services, Sokoto State Command, has raised the alarm over intelligence indicating planned attacks and kidnappings targeting tertiary institutions across the state. In a July 18, 2026 letter to the Sokoto State government, the agency said terrorist and bandit groups had shifted their focus from vulnerable primary and secondary schools to universities and other higher institutions. The letter, titled Planned Attack on Tertiary Institutions by Terrorist and Bandit Gangs, was signed on behalf of the state's Director of Security by Abi Abdulaziz. The DSS warned that the emerging threat could expose students, lecturers, non-academic staff and their families to kidnapping and other attacks, urging authorities to strengthen security around tertiary institutions. Let's still stay in Sokoto State, but tell you this sad report that a boat accident has claimed at least 51 lives after a vessel capsized in Goronyon local government area, Sokoto State. The National Emergency Management Agency says rescue operations are ongoing, while residents say 46 bodies have been buried and 5 others recovered from the river. Witnesses say the boat appeared overloaded and sank shortly after setting out. Most of the passengers were women and children traveling to farms across the river. Rescue teams remain at the scene as authorities coordinate the search for more victims and provide emergency assistance. The United Kingdom has advised its citizens against all travel to parts of 11 Nigerian states, citing security concerns in its latest travel advisory for the country. The Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office issued the updated guidance on Thursday, warning against all travel to Borno, Yobe, Adamawa and Gombe in the northeast, as well as Katsina and Zamfara in the northwest. The UK also advised against all travel to riverine areas of Delta, Bayelsa, Rivers, Akwa Ibom and Cross River states in the southeast and south-south. It further urged British nationals to undertake only essential travel to parts of 19 other states and the Federal Capital Territory, reflecting continuing concerns over security risks across several parts of Nigeria. The Niger State Emergency Management Agency has raised concerns over visible structural defects and cracks observed at Kangimi Dam in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State. Director General of NISEMA, Abdullahi Baba Ara, disclosed this in a statement warning that any failure of the dam could trigger flooding in parts of Kaduna and Niger states, the Federal Capital Territory, and other neighboring communities. He noted that the situation requires urgent technical assessment, coordinated preparedness, and immediate preventive measures, especially as the rainy season intensifies across the country. NSEMA said it has alerted the federal government and relevant agencies to the potential danger, stressing the need for swift intervention to avert loss of lives, destruction of property, and large-scale humanitarian challenges in downstream areas. Let's go outside Nigeria for a bit and tell you that President Paul Biya is back in Cameroon after 73 days abroad, ending an unusually long absence that fueled fresh speculation over his health. 93-year-old, the world's oldest serving head of state, landed in Yaoundé after leaving Geneva, where he had been staying since June 7. Biya waved to cheering supporters as his motorcade left the airport. His prolonged absence drew fierce criticism from the opposition, which accused the government of leaving the country on autopilot. Biya's ruled Cameroon since 1982. His return comes amid lingering tensions following his controversial re-election to an 8th term last year. And that's all the news we have for you for this hour. Don't forget to tune in at 12 when we bring to you our full news bulletin on the 12 report. I'm Joe Hansen. Stay with us. More coming here on Breakfast Central.
Welcome back to Breakfast Central. We have a newspaper review coming up right away, and joining us to review the papers is a man we probably can call the man who saw tomorrow. Last week he was on the show and prophesied that Ademola Adeleke was going to win regardless of whatever shege might have been infused against him. Today we have global affairs journalist of repute, Habib Aruna, the prophet, in the studio.
Senior journalist and former
Please ring bell for him.
And honorary prophet, Mr. Habib Aruna, before we kick off, just to let you know that the Premier League starts this weekend. I'm following your 100% track record of predictions. Please, can you tell me if Chelsea is going to go tomorrow or not?
I'm not Chelsea fan, I'm Arsenal fan.
Okay.
We are winning to against Coventry.
Do you think you'll be able to defend your?
No, we are defending the cup.
You bought some really quality players.
Yeah. We have the capacity.
And Pep Guardiola
we have the capacity. We have the manager.
Your nemesis is.
We have the mentality of defending the cup, and it will happen.
Okay. Away from footballing matters.
All right, let's go to actually. Let's start what we have come here to do. A 1, a 2, a 3 front pages of the newspaper. Our first paper this morning. Director, I give you the freedom and prerogative to choose any paper that you like. Please shoot whatever.
Anyone that comes to your mind.
Anyone you like. This Nigeria subsidy war, Tinubu hits back at Atiku, calls ex-VP ignorant over reversal plan. For those who are not aware, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has said that if he becomes president, he will revert subsidy. He will reinstate subsidy. Wike brands him voodoo economist, desperate for power. APM faults federal government's 15.8 trillion naira savings figure, demands full account. DSS arrests fake personnel in Abuja, recovers uniform pistol. Okorocha sues INEC over Uzodima's 2027 Senate candidacy. Sokoto boat tragedy, over 50 dead, mostly children. This is a really sad one. Our heart goes out to the families of these children who have passed. Federal government invests in 90,000-kilometer fiber network to boost digital economy. These are the stories on the front page of the newspaper.
Let's also look at that picture on the front page of this Nigeria.
Hey, how can I forget that? Ademola Jackson.
Action Jackson.
You know, thanking Mr. President.
He's been everywhere. It's been basking in the euphoria of his victory. He's shown this certificate of return to Wike, both enemies and foes alike. And, you know, people are wondering, is there no work to be done in Osun State? You're not the first person to win elections. And this is the same Mr. President you were warning in a series of tweets that it should, the APC is trying to do some hanky-panky in Osun State. But now there is one, all seems very rosy. It's all kumbaya. Mr. Abibaruna, I think we should start with that.
Let's have
Mr. President also said you did not conquer anybody, you only won, because he had to check his language. I'm not sure if we have clips of that. We have it. That's the video on your screen. Please, can we have the volume up so that we can hear the conversation between Mr. President?
And you are in a very, very unique position to make history.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Promote unity, peace, and stability. Use it. You started, he's a progressive. All you are doing now is progressive instinct. And you did a very good mobilization with your team. Very good job. You saw fear, you screamed.
Thank you, sir.
Promote democracy, promote stability, promote rule of law.
Yes, that's why I'm here to thank Mr. President, the father of the nation, because he fought for this democracy. That is why he allowed free and fair election, and that is the result. That is why I'm here to say thank you for making sure that democracy lives in Nigeria.
Okay, Mr. Abibaruna, this is a democracy. We are not longer a nascent democracy. A 26-year-old human being is not a nascent human being. That's an adult. He allowed free and fair elections. Is this something that should be praised, or is it not a normal thing to allow free and fair elections in a democracy?
First of all, I told you guys that I didn't even win. You did. Based on what is on ground and the dynamics, and they won. Despite all odds. And the man has been dancing, as you said.
Celebrating
and dancing.
And jubilating.
But there's nothing bad in visiting the president.
Why didn't Soludo visit the president?
No, Soludo went there.
With the certificate of return.
Soludo was there.
Okay.
And it should not also be overhyped, that he visited the president. You see, our democracy is growing. It's still in its embryonic stage. We are learning the lessons, we are learning the rules, and we are trying to guide it. And a good experiment was what happened on Saturday in Osun State, which we are all celebrating. So there's nothing bad in the man going to meet people that make it work. The president would have said, well, let's scatter everything. Let's circumvent it. Which we will work against him anyway.
The people will resist.
And recorded by history.
No, and the people will resist.
Yeah, you might, but they may have their way. History will record it, but they may have their way. But the president was magnanimous enough, he was pragmatic enough to allow it.
And fatherly. And very fatherly in his advice.
Absolutely.
That you should promote peace, unity, and stability.
Visiting the president, I'm visiting Wike.
Don't mispronounce it.
But even though I'm not too comfortable with his visit to Wike anyway.
Because Wike said, if Mr. President have unleashed me.
And that goes to show you that these people,
they're all friends.
They're all friends.
So it's we should be class conscious.
Adeleke said, for the elections, that don't mind the governor, they're my friends. They will still come and say, don't forget about them. That's what we are saying in this parents' manifestation. These guys are friends. So don't kill yourself over them. Don't make sure you kill yourself.
Best advice you
for the future of Nigeria.
That's the best. Say that those who died pre-election and also just before was it worth it? Was it worth it? Those who lost their lives for the Osun State election?
No, I don't
because
think
they've
so.
all made up now. They're friends. But guess what? The lives can never
be
brought back. You see?
Election should not be a war. It should not be a battle. It's something that we have to shed our blood for it to happen. That is not good at all.
All right.
But the legal story of this Nigeria.
Yes.
Yes, let's start with that one.
Struck something in May.
Please, let's have this Nigerian newspaper.
That is a subsidy story with President Tinubu firing back at
if you think...
I think we have the video of him also talking
If you think Atiku Abubakar is a joker, and then you have yourself to blame.
If you underestimate.
This is the last time, don't underestimate that man. This is the last joker he has in his back. He will not be contesting again in the next election. And I hope people in Aso Rock are watching this man closely. That is what happened yesterday. Atiku is saying, don't forget that the most contested issue now in Nigeria is subsidy remover.
Please, can we have that front page up, please? Madam Precious.
The most contentious issue now in the polity, subsidy remover, because we are feeling it. You cannot leave the session and be smiling. Because it affects everybody and percolates to every sector of the country. So people are feeling, and people are not happy.
Mr. Bibano,
and people are saying...
I want to ask you a question. As a political analyst, some have said that, the APC is desperate to return to power, and they have a joker up their sleeves that they would do anything in their power to return to power if, and by saying so, they can go all the way to even remove this oil subsidy to return to power. Because they know if they do that, prices will come down.
I will predict to you now.
Popular move.
I will predict.
Do you think they can
I will
do
predict
that,
to you,
or they will not do that?
If they remove subsidy, economy will collapse. I mean, I don't say anything bad in removing. I don't say anything bad in removing that subsidy anyway. It is the way it is well managed, and these are the loopholes that Atiku campaign they are exploiting. Atiku is saying that. Atiku is not saying it will bring back subsidy. He's not saying that. Read it very well. What he's saying is that there are loopholes that are still left unclosed, and people are expecting it to cheat Nigerians. That if remove subsidies, Nigeria still buy fuel at this kind of price, then it's meaningless. Now Atiku is saying that we will follow the barrel. We know who is collecting the barrel, where they are doing it. Are they exporting the crude, or are they using it here? Nigerian consumers, are they benefiting from it? If you read that piece, very comprehensive.
And they've kicked back.
And it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me. But it's like for the federal government, for the presidency, because Oedele gave us some figures 2 days ago, not convincing figures. Even though I believe that something should have been removed. He said many things. The economy was in a mess for 8 years under Buhari. But Tinubu came in and some reforms have been introduced. And they are working, but not perfectly. And because if they are working perfectly, we will not be suffering. We are starting their best, they are not starting their best.
No, he's saying that if they didn't make those decisions, this suffering that you think you are suffering now will be times 3. And many people have pushed back.
Absolutely. Before the subsidy remover, most government cannot pay salaries. Many things were not working. We are just printing naira without having the productive base. So it was removed, but there are still some loopholes. That's what Atiku is saying. Who are the people importing fuel? Are they importing this fuel?
Are they great? Are they
so
ghosts?
There's no transparency in it. And I think Atiku's intervention yesterday will wake up the presidency and make the political environment and make people realize that then look at this option. We have alternative. So it's becoming interesting, and it will be so sometime before the elections.
I mean, I don't know if our producers have the response by the president yesterday. He did speak on former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar.
So it's simplistic for people like Wike and other supporters of the president to be saying it's food economics. No, bring the issues on the table. What is Atiku saying? Atiku is saying that there's no transparency. They are not following the figure. What is the marginal benefit to Nigerians when you remove subsidy? That's what Atiku is saying. So we are waiting for the presidency to come and tell us
a proper audit.
Absolutely, proper audit. But I believe that the president, the removal of subsidy was in the best interest of Nigeria.
Before fuel subsidy.
But the case must be made properly to convince us that touching our bed is our own future, not for the benefit of the few in Abuja.
But before fuel subsidy, we're paying less than 500 naira.
180 naira.
Before fuel subsidies. Fuel subsidy came. We're paying less than 500 naira.
Yeah.
The economy was not as, in quotes, tough as it is now. Subsidy has been removed. The economy and the cost of living has skyrocketed than we've ever seen before. And guess what happened to the fuel? The fuel has even tripled at some point, getting to 1,300 and something. So the former
in Lagos is even cheaper. 1,250.
Yes.
If you are lucky to be in Lagos,
outside, yes,
Lagos,
1,480
your own.
and so on.
Everybody's talking because Lagos is the main.
Yeah, because some state is higher. And the former vice president is saying that, listen, if I come back, I'm going to bring back subsidy for these purposes you've mentioned. I've seen the kickback from the presidency. They've talked tough about it. They've said, oh, no, you are so, even the FCT minister said he's so thirsty. Everybody's so thirsty and desperate to get into power. How can you bring back something? Nigerians have also reminded the current administration and the president that, do you remember when former President Goodluck Jonathan wanted to remove it too? You stopped him from removing it and said it was a bad move. So how come you've now loved it so much that it is a good mood? Therefore, why did you stop him in the first instance?
But that argument to me is not true. I was just simplistic. It's a bit simplistic.
Okay.
Dynamics have changed. Johansson, 2012, it has changed. Things have changed. You know, I said, if you look at where we're coming from, 8 years of Buhari, physical and monetary rascality. They messed up the economy. Look at the foreign exchange. Look at the subsidy regime. Look at the major indices in the economy. Nothing was working. So, Tribunal came in, and the first thing they did was to remove subsidy. Even though people say it was in a rush, but he said, if I didn't do it at that time, I wouldn't do it again. So I agree with them in this subsidy remover, Johansson. But what I'm saying is that the remover stopped the loopholes, the racket that has been going on in that industry, and they stop it. What are they doing to make sure the refineries are working? If they force the subsidy, then the refineries must work so that we will stop importing fuel. Nigeria is perhaps the only country, and it to be corrected, that is a major oil producer and importing fuel, importing crude. Are we okay? So these are the things that I think should have been dealt with before. But what Article is not saying, that Article is beginning the debate. Article is starting the debate that come. There are many things going, there are many fraud going on here. I'm ready to do the right thing. He's not saying they will remove something, you bring it back. Say now we do the right thing so that Nigeria can benefit from the remover.
Okay. Let's take Uche from Abia. Uche is calling from Abia. Uche, good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
You see, we are running around the circle. My brother Abib has said he's against, returning subsidy. Am I right? You see, removal of subsidy was not thought out well. He said, regards to the corruption, yes, had it been that the government of the day fought the corruption in subsidy, it would have been better for every one of us. Remember, they told us, if they remove subsidy, Nigeria will not be borrowing. How much have they borrowed after removing the subsidy? That is the question you people as a journalist will be asking the presidency. You remove the subsidy, Nigerians are suffering more than the time we had subsidy. You have borrowed more, in which we are going to pay. This money is not the people that we borrow from. They are not Father Christmas. We are going to pay them. For me, removal of subsidy was very, very bad. Rather than fighting the corruption, if the government is serious, they have gone after those people that have defrauded us, by bringing petroleum in this country. They know themselves. They are their friends. Why are you, sheltering them? You shelter them and Nigerians are suffering. Many people are now into poverty, more and more poverty, because of the population. And Nweke is lashing at article. The same Nweke said that it has nothing to do with APC. He even sworn that APC is a cancer. Today, he is defending who and who, between Nweke and Atiku, who is upright. Nigerians know about these things. It's a pity about what we are talking about. For me, let them restore subsidy and fight against that corruption that is in subsidy.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Uche. Just to respond to what Uche has said, many of the explanations we hear for why the government or why the quality of our life has maybe tangibly gotten worse for a number of people and spending ability is that before now, the government was deodorizing the situation, that they were covering up for what was the true reality, and that if they had not stepped in by removing subsidy, we would not know what the true our true picture is, and at some point it will come back to hit us, in the face. That is part of the kickback and pushback that or the explanation we've gotten from that. But just to mention, 15.8 trillion naira. Federal government has gotten 5.4 trillion. States and local government 10.4 trillion. Question is, what were those monies used for?
There's an issue. There are many things, there are many figures being flaunted around. But there's an issue which it raised. I think it's very important. You made 15.8 trillion naira of subsidy, shared by the state, federal government, and local government. And you are still borrowing. You borrowed 11 trillion. No, that's why I said, now you borrow money, but you see, it's our duty and responsibility to educate the public. That is the media.
Absolutely.
You cannot beat a child and tell him or her not to cry.
Or how to cry.
You remove subsidy, and we are feeling the pain. I want us to be convinced when we are not sacrificing.
They say it's a sacrifice.
Exactly.
But if you borrow money, you can borrow money. Let's get it right. Borrow money for projects.
For what?
Infrastructure.
That are lasting projects. Lagos, Kaduna, Lagos, Calabar. Genuinely. Lagos, Calabar, genuinely. Not the one that was transparency in the way the thing was awarded, the contract. Do some roads, do some railway, hospitals, schools that are futuristic. You can borrow money for those things. Okay. But when you borrow money to pay salaries, as was done before
it's back to
I want us to quickly move to another paper because we're running out of time. New Telegraph, I want to see that.
But there's a story too, very important, because in journalism, when it bleeds, it bleeds. People died in Sokoto.
Yes.
You see, it's our time. These are innocent Nigerians who cannot control these boats and their managers. It is the duty of government and their agencies to make sure that these boats they are using, they're in good condition. That is the meaning of government.
But we talk about this in every
government is supposed to make sure that this is not in order. It will happen in Benue. It happened in Niger State. In the north now, it's happening. In Sokoto State. No. What is the government doing about it? When government is not consistent in its policy and program, it's going to see people suffer. People die just like that. People that died now.
Just gone.
So the thing is, if we can now say that
it's not good enough.
Okay.
We have our report. We have our reporter. We have our man on ground. And we're told that Mr. Peter Gregory just had a press conference in Onitsha. And we also have Alex Ogbonna is joining us live all the way from Onitsha. Alex, good morning. Can you give us an update on what happened in the press conference? What did Mr. Peter Gregory say, and how was the entire press conference?
Yeah, it went well. Well, as you can see, I'm in the premises of Mr. Peter Obi, former governor of Anambra State. The press briefing just finished a couple of minutes ago. It lasted for about 15 minutes, but it was really quite comprehensive. The former Anambra State governor did not mince words. He told us why he's the most qualified person to, be the president of Nigeria. He began by telling us that he was governor of Anambra State, and of course the records are there. He also told us that he has a very sound academic knowledge, and also as a businessman, he did so well too. But one thing he said that really tickled my fancy is he didn't just say everything he did while he was governor was perfect. He said there might be mistakes here and there, but of course the learning process. And he also did say that he touched on every sector of the economy, health, agriculture. He said once he becomes governor, he will definitely address all of this. He spent so much time addressing security issues, and of course we all know why. And he said he and his running mates, Arabic Kwankwaso, will definitely do justice to that sector of the economy. The man did not also stop there. He also told us why Kwankwaso is also a very qualified man to be the vice president, having been governor of Kano State, and of course also a successful businessman. Peter Obi told us that if he becomes president of Nigeria, this country definitely will, heave a huge sigh of relief, because right now Nigerians are really not smiling. The economy is hard, things are hard, but then once he becomes president of Nigeria, of course, all of this will be history. And he went on, and of course, he also did say that he may not be a perfect person, but of course, with the support of Nigerians, all hands must be on deck to ensure that Nigeria, become a great country as it should be. under any condition or situation.
All right. Thanks so much for filing in that report, that information about the press conference with Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. Well, it's campaign season, so we're expecting that we'll get to hear a lot more. And these political party members will be traveling from one state to the other. Activities are on. But thank you so much, Alex, for bringing that update to us. Okay? Thank you. Let's move on now to our next paper. You were going to a paper, the
Yes,
Telegraph.
please. Let's go to the next one, which is Tribune, I believe. Sorry, New Telegraph. Let's go to the New Telegraph. Don't travel to Imo, Katsina, 9 other Nigerian states. UK warns citizens. Cautions against all but essential travel to parts of 19 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Why? Waiting we do again. 2027, Okorocha sues INEC APC over Imo West's Senate ticket. Intensive unpaid caregiving linked to mental illness or mental health risks. Oh, wow. Pursue unity reconciliation. Tinubu tells Adeleke U.S. national debt passes $40 trillion. 47 dead as boat capsizes in Sokoto. Aiyedatiwa appoints 1,004 aides, speaks commissioners and 3 advisors. Really sad. NSIB running on deficit budgets over NIMASA, NRC non-compliance, and over 95% of startups fail amid Nigeria's $18.3 billion digital economy. That's a conversation we'll come to. But let's start with the Okorocha suing INEC and APC over Imo West senatorial ticket. He is a governor. Whilst in office, he's still planning for the future. He wants to come back as a senator. So he ran for elections. Elections got concluded. INEC announced him as the winner over Okorocha. Okorocha's son is saying...
APC submitted his name to INEC.
Sorry, APC submitted his name to INEC as winner. Okorocha's son has come out to say, no, that's not what happened, though. First of all, we beat him by numbers. Secondly, what's the ground by which a governor, while still in office, is running for senatorial...
The 11th Senate to be sworn in
next year,
June 2027.
His tenure ends in 2028.
In January 2028.
So
will he be senator governor or will he resign?
Senator Governor Monday Okpewolu. I mean, you see a lot of the senators that are governors.
That's my governor. I need to be careful.
No. I'm only especially. I'm like, I'm just
finished senator before he became governor.
Exactly. No, I only mentioned. I only mentioned him.
Senate governor, president.
That's my governor. Distinguished.
You should have added general, president general among the nations.
His Excellency, Okpebolo, distinguished senator.
We'll come back to talk about you.
But you see, what you are seeing in Imo is very absurd. Remember how this man even came in?
Hope
Uzodimma.
Yes.
Supreme Court.
Abracadabra. Supreme Court. The judges that sat on that case, justices, are still paying for it till now. So I don't know why it took Okorocha so long to come out with this kind of his reservations. But it's very simple. We are not qualified to contest. Bam. Because we are still sitting governor. Why did they submit your name? But I think you should go to court.
And
you should go to court.
They
and
say a bird in hand is better than five.
No. It's against
in the sky or the tree. But I saw something on Instagram yesterday. One man used his hand to pack all the 5 birds at the same time. So that proverb
but
does not work
what
again.
Uzodimma is doing, the question is that, is it in line, in conformity with electoral law?
So that's
if it's not, you go to court.
They are in court, actually.
You go to court.
The court to decide.
Yes. So I don't think
and you know,
both ways.
Governor Hope Uzodimma has a track record with the court, so he likes courts.
You don't like Wiki?
Yeah, so let's see how it goes.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, let's not preempt the court. But should this happen? But let's look at the big one. Following suits, just like Edo State, you have another governor who has appointed some huge figures.
No. You see, people are always overblowing these figures. It's as if you
Sorry, before we go ahead, I'm so sorry to take us back. I just wanted to quote, I was Googling it. I wanted to quote Section 183 of the 1999 Constitution. Section 183 of the 1999 Constitution, as amended, says, the governor shall not, during the period when he holds office, hold any other executive office or paid employment in any capacity whatsoever. So the question is, does this then stop him from running?
Absolutely.
He can run, but he can't hold 2 offices concurrently, so you have to resign.
So maybe he should start the resignation early.
Yes.
No, Benga, let's say we're in court of law now. I like the angle you came from. My lord, please, let me ask you the question. He can run, but can you run?
Ask Terry G.
You can only run.
Benga.
Okay, go ahead, please. I apologize.
Can you run when you're in active service?
So nothing in the law. I don't know that there's anything that outright.
Governor Adeleke just ran.
No. I think they can run. They can run. If you look at Ajimobi ran as a governor to be a senator because you will be a senator after you have left office.
Okay.
You know, but this Imo is a bit confused. Are you saying that the man will run for election and win? Then wait till after.
So that's what
he can't deprive him.
He will not resign.
It's like this.
Yes.
No, he can't deprive them representation. So you have to resign.
He has to resign. And you know that's the problem again. That thing then causes us more problems because we will now have another by-election.
Everybody will start.
And then that's why we have multiple by-elections. Because people come into office planning to run for another office.
I don't think it should be accepted. No,
it should not only allowed because that is a
I will urge Okorocha to go to court and
it's already in court. They're already in court. So
let the court interpret.
But
it's a huge gamble.
Like this,
imagine if he resigns and he loses.
It's Baba Ije. We have to take your
from the government be a senator. That man will resign.
And then
people have not voted now.
So the thing is, he can't also deprive his people of representation.
That's another
This is something that beyond what the legal optics say, we need to get to a point where people understand.
Have you noticed that we're all now confused? We now have some words. Think about it in your head. So you are confused because the narrative and the definitions don't match.
And very quickly too.
What should be saying is that once you're a governor, Oga, wait till you finish your tenure.
Simple.
Then you cannot decide, okay, I'm done. I want to vie for another seat. Not when you are there.
He doesn't have time.
By all means.
Jesus comes.
So that's the thing again. When we had this conversation earlier, it leads me to us talking about why is it that the legislative arm is the retirement plan for the executive arm. People serve as governors. You come. You move into the Senate, and then you want to die there. People are there for 16 years.
They say they are bringing executive experience.
No, are they saying that there are no people with influence, with experience, no fresh, young eyes that can represent the people?
Our own brand.
They like
again.
The life of convoy.
Our democracy is
distinguished.
You wanted to react to the appointment.
It's not like.
I mean, kudos to Lagos State's former governors.
In politics. It's a different thing entirely.
When you appoint
kudos to former Lagos State governors, maybe because the retirement plan is very juicy and yummy, so they don't even need to look at the Senate.
Lagos is different because
fashion,
Ambode,
all of them. They're not
even interested. Don't use the Lagos template. Lagos is a different place.
Why? What makes
because there are laws that govern how you run in Lagos.
The nature and character of Lagos. Don't compare.
Oh, they're allowed to.
In Lagos, if you're ambitious,
you can test it
at your own risk. Go and test it.
Test your popularity.
So let just. But and I said appointments are made by governors. Political appointments. Just job for the boys. 3 of you, the government. 4 of you, the government. It's political.
So
it's job for the boys. So we are not understanding.
So Ekiti State governor, what governor just appointed
1,400?
It's not the way you think about it. It's just job for the boys, just to make them occupied.
Is that job for the boys?
Employment. Yes, job for the boys.
Okpebolo's 3,000 plus
4,800.
That's what I'm saying.
It's also
job for the boys. It's not something that just for them to be occupied to salary.
And that's what he said.
Do leg work, do footwork. So don't overhype.
Is that right?
In politics.
It's right.
Maybe right. I'm a journalist.
Well,
the way they reason is different.
If
you are in office, Joanne, you will reason that same way.
Thank God I won't.
If Lagos State...
That's why I can't be a politician, for example.
I think Lagos State should engage the job for the boys, the vagrants and the street urchins. They should integrate them into Loma, street cleaners.
No, they've been doing it. It happens.
Clean
all those other boys.
Dirty roads.
All those other boys that you are seeing, making noise up and down the streets. They need to bring them in Loma. And last man. Yes. I'm serious.
Well, but as PA...
Serious.
As PA, they can channel.
Okay.
They can change it for their principal. Oga.
Let's see if we can... Do we have space to run through another page?
Just one last people. We don't have time. We have
Just
3
have
minutes
to,
to go.
like the rapper Twista and Busta Rhymes.
Okay, let's
have to hurry up.
Let's do the Guardian.
We don't have paper. We don't have time.
I want to read this, just one story in the Guardian.
Olive, we don't have time.
We don't have time. Photo of the week. I just wanted to say Sheshe Day. Traditionalists rally federal government to tackle insurgency and banditry.
Yes, because most of the problems in Nigeria are not caused by traditional adherents. It's Christians or Muslims.
What did we do? How did we cause problem?
Go to the prisons and look at the statistics.
It's okay. Let's look at our photo of the day, picture of the day, picture of the week.
Picture of the week, please. Photo of the week.
Let's show it to you very quickly so that you can see this
Producer, please, this drum roll.
picture. Wow.
What are they holding?
I see a cap.
It looks like trumpet. No, it looks like flute.
Can you guess?
I can't guess so. But I'm seeing Infinity logo in one.
Okay, let's explain.
Sugarcane.
This is a politician. He donated sticks. These sticks are called Gora and torchlights to vigilantes in his community. The donation comes amid ongoing security challenges in communities affected by bandits. You can name them and so on and so forth.
So does the bandits also show up in stick or AK-47?
This is Gora. Gora is a stick. You use it with torchlight. Anybody that comes, you flog it.
You flog the AK-47 out of their
I don't know about that. Maybe you must. Maybe they've learned. I don't know. What do you think about this? Is it
a welcome development? Look at the pomp and pageantry surrounding the presentation.
I think the commissioning or the
commissioning and the handover ceremony of the stick and torchlights
is needless. But I think it's commendable for them to have given this thing out.
So how many
security officials in that local government?
How effective is this?
I don't know.
Sir, in your house, is this stick that you give to your security?
But the commissioning to me and the photo ops they are doing about it is not the best of things. But for them to have given it out, it's not bad.
So is this part of, since we saw an infinity cap, is it part of renewed hope agenda?
No, they can improve on it.
Honestly,
Can be improved.
we need to get to the point where our empowerment by politicians is not as ridiculous.
I mean, even post for there's photo ops.
Olive, these are non-kinetic.
Later, you people will judge the person that gave that principal khaki and firewood, sugarcane stick with torchlight.
It's not sugarcane, it's Gora. It's a very strong stick. If they flog you with Gora,
they flog you.
So if somebody has khaki, it's AK-47. You will use Gora to defend yourself.
Sometimes they don't just bring AK-47.
It's kinetic, it's non-kinetic.
Stroll and do recce. So while they are strolling, you flog them with Gora. And you shine the light on them. Mole.
That's all. Thank you, Mr. Bimarona, for being here. A pleasure your spot on analysis as always. And thanks to all our viewers for watching. Breakfast Extra starts tomorrow, the weekend edition of Breakfast Central. Don't miss it.
Oh my goodness.
Gora!
What is Gora?